All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chang Gang podcast. This is episode 62 featuring Fred, aka velreal. Fred, how's it going? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's cold. I'll be rubbing my hands a lot.
No problem whatsoever. I really appreciate you for taking the time to be a part of this podcast. We've already hit 62 episodes, guys. Just note that on the bottom right, you can see both of our Instagram handles, so feel free to drop some follows. Another thing to note is that there are two commands for each podcast that I host. The first one is exclamation podcast. In short, it is a way for me to form a platform to allow my guests, aka Twitch friends, to talk about their lives and experiences in general. Secondly, we have exclamation guest, which will lead you guys to a direct link to Fred's Twitch channel. So if you guys didn't know, Fred is also a fellow streamer, so check him out and show some love. Okay, we're gonna get started. Again, thank you to all the guests and viewers for being here to show some love. We're about to learn about Fred's life here. Okay, let's start things off with a brief introduction about yourself, and feel free to include some of your hobbies and interests.
Okay. Real quick, do you only call me Frederick?
Uh,
I'm just
no,
reading
that was my first time calling you Frederick from what I can remember.
And he's such a capper. Oh my. But hello everyone. My name is. Yeah. Okay. My real name is Frederick, but feel free to call me Fred. 2 syllables usually is too long for most.
I didn't know that.
Wait, what?
Actually, Frederick. Wow.
It's actually Frederick. Do you actually you call me Frederick to her?
Like as a joke.
Oh, what the hell?
Wow, this is crazy.
All right. Anyways, yeah. People call me Fred. Some people call me Vel. My community calls me Dad. One community calls me Mom. People look up to me as a parental figure for some reason. Apparently, because I have good advice for some reason. I do stream occasionally, here and there. Actually, not too often. I'm thinking of getting more into it ever since I came back from the Philippines. I was actually gone for 2 months. And yeah, I'm a variety streamer. I usually like doing just chatting just because I like to interact with my chat a little bit more. If it's games, usually because I have like a 5 stack already ready, or I just want to like play games. Usually I don't because my PC Fs most of the time, so I keep it to just chatting, try to be entertaining. I like doing music too. I have a bunch of guitars on my wall here. I have a piano on my left, and I also sing sometimes. I'm also Filipino and 5'2". Yes, I'm shorter than Annie, but but I'm chilling. I got a big heart, and that's what matters. And for hobbies, yeah, music. I play ultimate frisbee as well. On the side, play some rec ball, or used to, as well as some rec volleyball. And yes,
All
that's
right. Okay, thanks for the overview. So, how would you specifically describe your own personality?
Ooh, my personality. Okay, if you're if you're someone who just met me, like I'll take this into perspective of how others would perceive of me, right? So
Mhm.
if you just initially met me, you'll think of me or see me as someone that's super outgoing, very open, tends to be really positive, likes to keep the conversation going, inclusive in terms of if there's a group or not. Um, and that's what I usually like to show on stream. And for the majority of people, for diving into it a little bit more deeper, I like being deeper as a person. Topics, I like deep talks. I love my deep talks. If I'm getting close to someone, usually I would love to, at least if the communication between said person and I become that way. I like getting to deep talks, getting to know them a little bit more, getting them to know me a little bit more. I like being deeper. I'm just reading your chat. Sus. No, but when I'm really comfortable with you, when we can just sit and not say anything for like a good couple minutes to up to an hour and
Mhm.
still be comfortable with each other. Um, for example, I met up with an IRL today. We haven't
Yeah.
met up since like November last year, and we got Mexican food. Afterwards, we went to this place that sells tires and patio furniture. And we
Mhm.
sat down at the patio place. We talked for like maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and then we just sat there for like 30 minutes and just looked at stuff. Oh, yo, look at that person. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically me. I like to think I'm pretty nice. One thing about me is if I don't trust very easily to the extent of like putting in all like everything
Mhm.
to a couple people. But once you gain my trust, know that I'm always there to like support and protect. So yeah.
Yeah.
But if you lose it, bye bye.
Okay, specific question. So, would you consider yourself more of an introvert or an extrovert?
um, it really depends on the situation.
Okay.
Depends on the atmosphere. Usually if like this is going back to when I used to like party a lot. If there was a bunch of people in that one room that I don't know, I tend to stay away and I hang out with the people that I do know or at least I've become acquainted to and try to branch off from there so that I
Mhm.
get to at least be acquainted with everyone else. Um, but if I'm in with a group of people that I'm actually super comfortable with, I tend to be extremely extroverted. So like I forgot the term. It's like I'm an extroverted introvert, an introverted extrovert. I don't know which word comes first, but
Mhm.
it really depends on who I'm with, right?
Yeah.
If we're looking at it in terms of Twitch and online, I like to be more extroverted. Like I have the energy for it.
Mhm.
Despite my small 5'2" body, I tend to have a lot of energy. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, an ambivert.
Okay. So, we're gonna talk about the very beginnings of your life now. So, you could
Mm-hmm.
be as detailed as you'd like, but give
Mm-hmm.
us an overview of like what you went through in life since the day you were born up until like the end of high school. And then I'll ask you specific questions. It's
Until
like
the end of high
backstory.
school.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, I have a really similar origin story to Marmar. I don't know if you had Marmar on your podcast yet. Marmar
Yeah.
Bits.
Mm-hmm.
You
I
have?
have.
Okay, yeah. So we have the same origin story, and I know she'll be fine with me saying this since we've talked about it on stream.
Mm-hmm.
But we were both born in the Middle East, despite not being Middle Eastern. We're both Filipino, I believe. So we're both born in the Middle East. And we're from the Philippines, and then we grew up on the West. So actually, I was in the Middle East till I think around 4 years old, and then I came over. Yeah, 4 years old. I came over to Vancouver before my fifth birthday. I only remember this because I remember specifically on my fifth birthday, I accidentally bit a kid.
Oh.
Like he was nearing high school. I remember biting him and he was crying, and I hid under a couch because I was scared that I would get in trouble. So there's that. Um, and I bit his finger. Yeah, so that's okay. Anyways,
Yeah.
continuing from that, yeah, I lived in the Lower Mainland my entire life, except from when I was in the Middle East.
Okay.
Um, and plus a month in the Philippines, but that's more or less irrelevant if you're comparing like my entire lifespan. But yeah, Greater Vancouver area for most of yeah for all my life except the four. Um, Growing up, since we were like freshly immigrated into Canada, my family wasn't the most well off, so we had a lot of things to deal with in terms of like financially speaking, anyways, like food banks, which I know some people are really embarrassed about, but like yo, food banks are food banks,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just always worrying about if we're gonna be able to eat some nights, some days, having to walk certain distances because we didn't have a car, um, and stuff like that. I mean, since then we've done a lot better. So that's a blessing, definitely. But it just kind of humbles me now, considering that okay, I know what it's like living then. But coming from there, I'm an only child, so I grew up with my mom more or less. If you get really close to me, you can tell that I'm more in touch with my feminine side rather than masculine, just because I was around my mom a lot, as well as we were renting a bottom floor of a two-story house. Um, our upstairs neighbor, their kid was a girl, so I always hung out with her when I was, I'll say maybe around 3 or 4 years of my life. I'm gonna burp maybe.
All good, no worries.
Excuse me. But yeah, I grew up with her. Don't remember her name, but yeah, we always hung out for 4 years. Always was my mom with my mom since my dad was always working. So again, come, I've become more in touch with my feminine side, like I said. That being said, even now, like I have closer female friends than guys. Like I have like super close homeboys,
Mhm.
but for me, it's a lot easier to connect with most girls just
Yeah.
because I was dealt with like all the problems with like girls growing up, etc. I remember a couple of road trips I would go on. I'm the only dude in the car, and they'll just be like, "Oh yeah," they'll start talking about periods and stuff. I'm like, I'm a dude, and he's like, all the girls are just like, "Yeah, you're gonna know this. You're gonna need to know this when you have a daughter or you have a girlfriend and or a wife." I'm like, "Okay, cool," and then I learned some stuff from there. But going on from then, actually moved from my original house that we like from coming from Middle East. We moved around maybe 3 times. So I lost a good amount of friends along the way. I mean, I've kept in touch with one from when I was grade 5, or, but besides then, like I have had to make friends a lot and know how to like kind of, you know, um what's the term? Relate, be able to relate to the people that I'm around. Um,
Mhm.
Not necessarily changing my personality or changing my interests or hobbies, but I'm really grateful that at least in my elementary school as well as the high school that I went to, we were really small. So everyone was super inclusive, regardless of wherever you're from. I remember one time there's a new student that came from China. He had Tourette's, and everyone was super nice to him. Like he wasn't the most fit kid, he wasn't the coolest, and have like all the swag that all the kids were looking for back then. But every lunch
Mhm.
would be like, "Hey, come out to lunch, eat with us. Hey, I want you on my team." When I was PE or whatever. But that's something I'm really grateful to have when I grew up. Is that everyone was nice and inclusive. I did have a couple of bullies when I was younger, especially because, believe it or not, I was shorter than 5'2" when I was younger.
Mhm.
But that was something that I had to learn to deal with. But luckily enough, I've had close friends to help me deal with that, and they actually helped me learn how to stand up for myself as well as stand up for me. So that was something cool. Um, and yeah, I mean, growing up, my family's really religious, so there's also that one aspect of my life, and I think I've remained true to it. Um, in terms of looking for positivity in like darker times. I know depending on who's listening, I
Yeah.
can be kind of negative depending when, but like I have my small circle of friends to remind me that hey, things are gonna be okay. And I'm usually like off by myself anyway, since that's what I'm used to. Especially now with my current residence, I live really far from. I'm still in the greater Vancouver area, but I'm still relatively far enough where people don't want to drive out to. So it's
Yeah.
like I learn how to just chill with me. I've learned how to keep myself company and be happy with myself.
Mhm.
And if I'm lonely, I'll learn not to be. Like in terms of like what I said earlier, like my hobbies were music, as well as sports. Since sports aren't too relevant where I am at the moment, is usually the music. Learning songs to sing. The biggest thing would be piano. I love piano. Um, I just remember my darkest times just actually crying on my keyboard, or not my
Ooh.
keyboard, but my actual my upright piano downstairs. I remember a specific time where um my parents were out. I don't know what they were doing. I just woke up, they weren't there,
Mm-hmm.
and the sun was spilling through the windowsills or through the windows. Windows were open. It was morning. The birds were chirping. I was playing a song. I was like, "This is so sad," and I started like bawling because that was a really dark time. I think it was 2019.
What a
Yeah,
setting.
2019.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just the setting and everything. I'm like, oh damn. But yeah, I mean, high school. I didn't touch too much about high school, but I wasn't the best student. I really didn't care too much about school, and I think that's one of my bigger regrets is just not taking high school seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still generally happy with how it happened, like how it went through. Again, small school,
Yeah.
really great close friends that I made, and then yeah, I played high school ultimate frisbee. I actually played in my high school from grade 8 to grade 12,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing there are summer clubs team. Like there are clubs in the summer that I can play, and I started in grade 11. And I was so sad because I'm like, yo, I got up to the team in grade 12, and that was really high in comparison to like if you're looking at my experience through high school ultimate frisbee, it was terrible, but
Mm-hmm.
I still got up there. I'm just thinking, okay, if I started in grade 8, I could have been like on the provincial team or something. What the heck? But yeah, I made more friends through there. I'm not gonna lie, I stopped being in contact with a lot of my ultimate frisbee friends just because going back to what I said about the trust thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So after
Um,
high school, you lost contact with them, right? Because that's when you stopped.
um, kind of lost contact. I mean, I didn't try to reach out to them,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just r- through time you stop talking to people. But the thing is, I, I wasn't sad that I lost contact with them
Mm-hmm.
because I know like drama would end up coming out if I stayed there, and I know I was happy with where I was.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I think that's more or less
An
more or
overview.
less yeah
Okay.
from when I was born to high school. So
All right. I have specific questions for you. Okay, so briefly talk about like the diversity and background of Vancouver since you've been there most of your life.
oh yeah, Vancouver is super multicultural. Like I know there was well, it depends on where you are specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're looking at just Vancouver in general, I'd say like maybe 30 to 40% are Caucasian. The rest are from different like ethnic backgrounds.
Yeah.
Like we in my school, we made it a joke saying how like yeah, Caucasians were the minority of the school because they were. Like every time someone of that background came into the school, we are like, "Oh my God, you're rare. How are you? What are you doing? Let's be friends." I mean, again, we were super inclusive, so it's just like, okay, cool. Like it's a new friend for us to hang out with, but it
Mm-hmm.
was just fun. Like I know everyone had their own like groups where they all had similar origins, but when it came to just being together, everyone meshed really well, which
Yeah.
is like super cool. But that being said, Vancouver is one of the few places in Canada that's really diverse.
Mm-hmm.
The other place would probably be Toronto and maybe Calgary, Edmonton, but that's four to five cities out of what is it, the second biggest country in the world or third? I don't know. I mean, we have a lot of like northern islands that no one like that's not inhabited by anything except
Yeah.
polar bears and Santa Claus, but
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but Vancouver itself is pretty diverse,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a great way to learn different cultures, which is nice. Lots of food.
Yeah.
That's how I came to love Lebanese food. Lebanese and Greek
Mm-hmm.
and Afghani food. It's like those are like one of my top foods to eat. So it's like, alright, cool. And I would have never tried it if Vancouver wasn't as diverse as it is. Sorry.
All good. Okay. So with that being said, do you happen to know why your family chose to move from like the Middle East to Vancouver specifically?
Oh, I think Vancouver was a long time. I'm pretty sure Vancouver was a long-term goal or long-term goal. They were in the or we were in the Middle East strictly because they paid well. So with my parents anyways, they were both born in the Philippines.
Okay.
Um, it's kind of funny because my mom was working at an agency that sends out international like Filipino workers. So my parents met then, and oh no, okay, they met before, but then they re-met back here. So my dad
Mm-hmm.
applied, and then mom was like, "Okay, you're working in the Middle East. Okay, cool." My mom ended up getting a job in the Middle East, and then yeah, they met up again, and then boom, out came a Fred. That's more or less what happened.
Uh-huh.
And then, but they knew that long term, like, hey, we're like Middle East isn't the optimal place to raise a family, especially with like Christian background, especially because if you were caught, um, practicing any religion that's not Muslim,
Mm-hmm.
you'd probably go to jail or worse,
Oh,
right?
I see.
Like they made it so that, or from what my parents told me was, whenever they had service back in the Middle East for
Mm.
church, they would bring a bunch of food and like have it in the back. Like it's gonna be at a random place. Of course, there's not gonna be like a house of worship, but they'd have it in back. And if someone were to come and knock, they'd pretend they're having a party. And once they're
Uh-huh.
gone, they're like, okay, back to praising God and stuff like that. Um, but I think they were talking about Cali or Vancouver, but I think they ended up with no, they definitely ended up with Vancouver because um they had a contact where both my parents could get jobs there, and they were both paying really well. So, okay, Vancouver it is. Yeah.
I see. And so what was it like growing up as an only child? Have you ever had those thoughts where you're just like, dang, I wish I would have had a sibling? And do you know like what the decision was like for your parents?
Um, being an only child is kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, again, I learned how to entertain myself to an extent, but it would be nice to have like someone my age to grow up with. You feel,
Yeah.
but actually going deeper into it, I was supposed to have an older sister, but unfortunately, my mom had a miscarriage. But
Mm.
I I think that would have been pretty good. It would. I think supposed to be like a 6 or 7 year age gap. So she would have been like way older than me, but still, it would have been nice to like have someone in the house
Yeah.
and like at least give me guidance because I learned from friends. I learned from like society and what people are doing at the moment. Whatever I notice on the streets or at school, usually sometimes it isn't the best like instruction, right? And having like an older sibling, especially to kind of go through the ropes first and then be like, yeah, that's good,
Yeah.
that's bad, do this, do that. It would have made like earlier on a lot easier, especially when it came to making friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I it wasn't hard for me to make friends, but it would have been a lot easier in that sense, right?
Yeah.
Um, the one thing I hate about being an only child is the fact that everyone thinks you're spoiled, which is true to an extent
Mm-hmm.
because, of course, parents want the best for their kids, or in my case, kid.
Yeah.
Um, but I kind of hated it just because everyone thinks, oh yeah, you'll get this because you're the only kid. You'll get that because you're the only kid. Why do you have this? Oh, because he's the only kid. And I'm like, dude, like, I asked for this. Like I did chores to get what I wanted. I had to get good grades to get what I wanted. And yeah, like I think earlier on, I think right after high school, I convinced my parents to be like, yeah, I want to be self-sufficient. I mean, they helped me with like tuition, etc., etc. But more or less, I was like, yeah, teach me how to do stuff. Let me do it myself. And yeah, that's yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so what was your relationship with your parents before versus now?
Oh my god. Before,
Mhm.
when I was really young, I think elementary school, my dad used to be stricter. And he's kind of laid off the gas, and my mom's taken over the reins. Um, my mom, like she babied me, of
Yeah.
course, because I was her only kid. She protected me from everything, so there's that. But it's the one thing now is that my parents are really, really chill. Like to the point where I can just be like, "Hey, mom, a girl's coming over." She's like, "Okay, cool. When she's here, I'll go for a walk for like an hour or two with your dad." I'm like, "Cool, thanks. You're a pro." Like,
Whoa.
that's chill.
Okay.
Or else if it's super late, I'm like, "Hey, they're coming over." And she's like, "Okay, we're going upstairs." Sure. And then like you'll hear the TV be blasted up like a couple decibels. I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Hmm.
They're they're chill. Like they know like, you know, human instinct, like we have cravings or whatever, hormones or hormones, and like okay. But I feel at least especially now I can be a lot more open to them
Yeah.
versus before, just because at this point of our lives, like we're all adults.
Hmm.
Like just one side's gone through more than you or myself. I ask him questions like, "How do you do this?" Like, "I don't know how to do that." Okay, sure. I mean, at this point, I'm more or less like I can say I'm like pretty self sufficient. I would not move out anytime soon, just because Vancouver real estate is terrible. It's way too expensive.
Yeah.
It's not good, but it's okay so far. Um, but yeah, I love my parents. I love my parents. I love you. They didn't hear me. That sucks.
All right.
Really good.
So, whenever you did act out, like I know you said your father was like more strict. How did they handle discipline?
Oh, the belts, the
Oof.
classic belts. Um, actually, they didn't do. My dad didn't do too much. He just brought it out and then scared me to like act right.
Hmm.
Because I knew I've had a spanking before. I'm like, okay, I don't like that. So I learned like, oh, I hear the like snap snap with the belt coming out. I'm like, okay, shit, I need to behave. And you go to sleep and you stop making noise or whatever. But that was the discipline. Um, again, it's it might be being the only child thing, but I was compared to the stories my friends gave me, it wasn't as bad, I would
Hmm.
think.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of it was just like taking away toys, maybe, or
Okay.
like staying in your room. Because I was a kid that liked going out a lot,
Hmm.
um, or like more chores. But like, yeah, that was basically it. I mean, I learned my lesson. I learned why they did it, like because of love, but also just for them to like convey to me that okay, what your actions, there's like stuff that happens, maybe good, maybe bad, right? Like right now, there's no like when I was a kid and I would act up, they'd be like, hey, like, if you did this outside of like in public,
Yeah.
it would be frowned upon, right? Since we're in private and you're acting like this,
Hmm.
you need to know that there are repercussions. This might not be the repercussion if you're outside, but this is so you know that this equals this. And okay,
Hmm.
I need to behave. I need to be a good wholesome boy.
All right. So switching over to more of your school life, you mentioned that you didn't perform like the best in academics, but how would you say you did overall, even throughout post high school, if anything?
Oh, actually, I performed. Okay, my results
Hmm.
were better than expected.
Okay.
Um, like they were like I would say my results were top of class, right? If you're looking at post high school, it's like top of class. If you're looking at high school, it's like maybe like top 30%,
Hmm.
right? Like I wasn't the best, but I was up there. I say my performance wasn't good, because I felt like I didn't care,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah.
Like I wish I would have done better. Like I know I could if I studied harder, if I finished assignments, if I finished like projects,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I could have gotten a better grade. Um, but the motivation wasn't there for me. Might be because of ADHD. This is a self-diagnosis, but I'm pretty sure I have ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, my results were fine. Like I remember one time, I think I was, I think it was grade 12 English. This is the only class I needed to do really well in grade 12 to graduate, and I slacked so hard in that class, I almost failed. But we had a provincial exam that year,
Mm-hmm.
but I did like unbelievably well despite not even studying. Like I didn't learn any what is it? Poetic terms or devices, um like sentence structures, paragraph structures, or essay structures. I didn't really look up on that. I didn't really study, but I ended up getting a 98 on
Jeez.
a provincial exam. That's like worth 30, I think it was 30 to 35% of my grade, and that
Mm-hmm.
brought me up from like 56 to like 88. I think. I don't remember, but it brought me up a lot. I'm like, okay, cool,
Yeah.
sick. I know I'm smart. And actually, from that test, I brought that forward into post secondary. I'm like, okay, cool. I know I'm smart, or like I'm smart enough to understand stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, I'll just bring it forward. And then post sec was just like, okay. I kind of lost interest in post secondary. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's education. So talking about sports, you mentioned basketball, volleyball, and ulti, right? So
Mhm.
give us share your experiences with each of those sports, like how you found interest, maybe list some of your highlights, and then how you might have like fallen out of it.
Okay. Well, I'll start. I'll do that with each sport. I'll start off with like basketball.
Okay.
Like I said, this goes hand in hand with basketball and volleyball, but I mainly played rec leagues and pickup in Vancouver, in the Vancouver area,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a church team, church rec, whatever you call that. But um, basketball was to me. I still played because all my friends were playing. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm down with it. But despite playing it for how many years, it really didn't. I didn't like it too much. There was too
Yeah.
much I don't know, so much hype around it. Like there's also the athletic wear that people would like try and get you to do. Like, oh no, you gotta have Seattle socks or whatever they called it back then. Like, yeah, Nikes, and I don't know. I think the culture of basketball kind of drew me away from playing it some more. Like it was fun to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't. I mean, me as an athlete, I'm quicker than most. I can get under people's legs. And that's an exaggeration, but like I get
Yeah.
away from people pretty easily. My handles were fast enough in basketball because I was like closer to the ground. But for me, my biggest achievement is that I just became a sharpshooter. Like I just
Ooh.
shot threes.
Okay.
That's like the only reason why I would be put on teams is because okay, like if someone gets on me, I can get away pretty quick and I can just like pop a three and like that's 3 points for us, right? But
Mm-hmm.
again, the culture of basketball drew me away from it. I'm like, okay, it's it didn't make me want to like play clubs or get better. Just
Yeah.
right, like I never was competitive with basketball or volleyball. I just did it for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for volleyball, um, I think I played power in lib. Lib is yeah, I played lib when my team was tall, but when my team was short, I played power because I like jumping. Because I what is it? I think my vert back then when I used to play volleyball, it was roughly like 38 inches, which is like what 3 feet 2 inches for
Mm-hmm.
a 5 foot dude. That's not bad,
Jeez.
right?
Yeah.
And considering my arms are like, oh sorry, they're pretty short. Like I could easily block people.
That is
And
crazy.
I guess one of my bigger highlights, it was at a tournament, and I think we were playing the second seeded team, and I blocked one of their people. That's what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Like a
sick. And
highlight.
then
Yeah.
everyone was freaking like, yo, no. And then it was funny because when we both landed, I just look up at him, like my arm's still up, and then like I'm so short that my arms can't even reach the top of his head. I'm just like I, and then he just looked at me like with the ball on his side, like that happened, and whew, that felt good. That felt so good. But yeah, but since then, since my prime with my vertical, I don't jump as high anymore, but I still loved hitting the floor. I think that's the reason why I switched from power to lib, is because I'm like one of the few people who is really confident in like laying out onto like hardwood,
Yeah.
because I took that from ultimate, right? And then going into ultimate, like I said earlier, I played from actually I played in PE in grade 7 before going into high school, because we didn't have middle school here, or like where I was raised up. We
Mhm.
only had elementary and then high school. So I went from K to 7, 8 to 12. So in grade 7, we played in PE. Grade 8, I forgot about it until tryouts came out. There's an announcement. Hey, there's ultimate frisbee. Make sure you try out on Tuesday, Thursday after school in the backfield. And oh, there's ultimate frisbee. This is an actual thing. It's an actual sport. What the heck?
Mhm.
And then yeah, I played it and I'm like, cool. And then I wore this fake Gucci hat in grade 8. My entire team just called me Gucci hat. Yo, what's up, Gucci? I'm like, hey, what's up? And then this is when my vert was actually, it was higher here. I think it was 40 inches when I was grade 8 to 10, and I grew a little bit. But they'd always be like, hey, run down, jump over people. He probably got practice because he's been jumping from mango tree to mango tree. So yeah. Um but yeah, but then grade 8 to 9, or grade 8 to 10, it's just been at school.
Yeah.
I wish I played club again, like I said earlier, because I feel like I could have gone a lot better. Then yeah, but afterwards I played club in grade 11, and my team could have went to nationals, but we were all poor.
Oh,
No one had the funds to
suck.
go to nationals, so I was like, like my coach was like, "Yo, if we want to go to nationals, we can. We beat this team. We're
Mhm.
seeded high enough to go to nationals." And everyone's like, "Yo, I'm down, but I have no funds." And everyone's like, "Okay, we'll just stay. It doesn't matter." It's
Mhm.
like, but grade 12. I'll start off by saying this right now though, but my high school team was terrible.
Okay.
we never we never got, like, for cities, we've never placed higher than fifth,
Mhm.
which was, yeah, we never placed higher than fifth. But grade 12, grade 12 was the first year we actually placed fifth. Every other year we were like below that. But during the summer of that year, I was like, okay, I want to like be competitive for once. I want to like see how far I can go. And I ended up making the second. Was it the second? The second slash no, the third slash fourth best team in British Columbia, in my province.
Mhm.
We ended up finishing, I think, fifth at nationals, because I know, oh no, we finished seventh, because I know British Columbia has like one of the better youth like programs out there besides Toronto. I'm like, okay, cool. Um, afterwards, like after that, my highlight year of ultimate frisbee, I actually went back to my old high school to coach, and I coached from grade. I coached from 2016 to 2020, and that was super fun. I know in 2016 we had a, what's it called? We had a tournament for the province, that was the first provincial tournament we've ever like were able to play in.
Mhm.
We were seated 29th out of 30, which was just abysmal. It's so bad. But we placed ninth despite being seated 29th, and that was
Wow.
insane.
Yeah.
And then my school was just like, yo, we can actually do pretty well here. Like, oh yeah. And that, I'm not saying it's because I came back to coach, but coincidentally, it was the first year that I ended up coaching. So I was like, okay, cool. That works out. I went back 2017. 2017 was a similar story. We placed second, actually, in the city, which was
Yeesh.
insane because
Mhm.
r- my kids were just like, oh wait, we're actually pretty good. Like if we like pick the team out well, because I know my previous coach when I was still in high school, he picked the team to just have fun, because all he did was play recreationally, so he didn't really see the competitive side of it. Whereas after my two latter years of high school where I played competitively, I was like, we could have changed so much things. We could have implemented this drill, that drill, this play, right?
Yeah.
Or this strategy. And then I implemented it when I coached, and it ended up working out really well for us to finish second in the cities, which was the first time in how long. We went to provincial tournament. Um, we did better that year. So, oh wait, real quick, the 2016 year, the year prior to that, we placed in a div lower, and we went from 29th to 9th, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's 2017. This 2017 year, I think we were seeded 14th, and this is the highest division like available for the high school, and
Wow.
we went from 14th to 7th, which put us on the like on the watch list for all
Yeah.
the schools like the schools
That
like from here
improvement.
to here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then 2019 and 2018 was like my biggest accomplishment as a coach, because this was the first year we participated in a tournament in the States, and even though it was our first year, we came second in finals. We lost finals by 1 point,
What?
which is crazy. My kids were
Yeah.
super sad, but
Yeah.
like it's still insane. Like it's
Huge
your first
accomplishment.
huge accomplishment. We actually ended up winning cities by like 5 points, which is a lot because
Mm-hmm.
our cap was 13. Um, we won Lower Mainlands, which is just the region, and we won provincials too. We won provincials by okay. The point cap for provincials for finals was 15.
Uh-huh.
We scored 15. The other team scored 1.
Whoa.
And that's how hard we like steamrolled the other team. And it's like
Yeah.
my biggest accomplishment as a coach. And no, like my second biggest accomplishment, because my first biggest accomplishment is one of my kids. She actually made Team Canada.
That's
And
crazy cool.
it's crazy because
Yeah.
she actually, I mean, we were talking about it this one time, but she actually wouldn't have tried out
Uh-huh.
if I didn't drive out to her. She was like, she's how far? She's like 40 minutes away from me. I drove out to her. And I drove out to UBC, which is like maybe 50 minutes from where she lives,
Mm-hmm.
and I paid for her tryout too. I was like, "Yo, I'm
And
paying this, and I'm driving you because I know that you can do well." And she's like, "No, no, no, no," and like she's being like all the humbleness, whatever. But she popped off. Like she got on like pretty easily, and props to her team because for Worlds they placed third, which is like out of other countries, that's still really good,
mm-hmm.
right? So yeah, and I think 2018 too was when the last time I played Ultimate on a competitive team. Um, it was okay. I'm not gonna lie, team chemistry was but that was the last
Mm-hmm.
time I played Ultimate competitively. I coached again 2020, but we all know what happened 2020. Um,
Yep.
Unfortunately, holy, that team would have been so good.
Oh.
I just remember like we were stacked that year, and it was the first year we had a junior team, so we would have been prepped for the years like to
To
come
come.
because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because from 16 to 20, we've only had one team for the school because we were too small to have two teams. So I was basically training both the veterans as well as the beginners.
Yeah.
And I don't know, sometimes the beginners can't grasp like concepts too easily because we need to learn how to throw both backhands and forehands, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it was difficult, and I was excited for 2020, 21, and then for this year too, but unfortunately that didn't happen. And yeah, from 2020, I think that was the last time I involved myself with Ultimates. Um, I mean, I stopped involving myself with the people that I played with, as well as like my old friends from before, and I just focused mainly on my kids. Like I love my kids so
Yeah.
much. Like on my wall, I don't know if I'm pointing to it, but right here, I don't know if I'm pointing. Is it here? No, it's here. Not there. Yeah, so this is a photo of 2017 captains and me.
Yeah.
Up here is a letter from one of the parents. This 2016 letter from my kids that
Mhm.
said thanks for coaching. Then here are articles from like when we won in 2018.
Yeah.
Like I love my kids so much, and I'm even wearing one of my kids gave this to me for my birthday 2019.
Is that a puzzle piece or what
It's
is
a
that?
puzzle piece.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's yeah. I'm very sentimental. I think you can tell by my wall, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Gifts and stuff. Dang, that's really
yeah,
really cool.
yeah. I didn't even expect any of this to like for them to give any of this to me. It
Hmm.
was just cute. I'm like,
Heartwarming.
wow, super heartwarming. And they're like, oh, like my 2016 year when we had our team dinner, they were like, hey, I'm sorry that we couldn't get you anything more. Like this is all we could do because it was super last minute. I'm like, no, it's okay.
This is
This is
great.
super
Yeah.
sweet. It's so sweet. Like I'm putting this on my wall, and they're like, okay. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I look at it when I'm sad, and I'll like read the nice things that they wrote, and like,
Cherish
my
the
heart is full
memories.
again.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Dang. So that's the ulti story.
That's the ulti story, and that's yeah, more or less like athletics as a whole.
Okay. And so aside from academics and sports, were you involved with like any specific clubs and activities, maybe in high school?
Um, no. Um, the closest thing I joined was metalwork
Hmm.
and woodworking, but that was just for fun. Like I wasn't actually in the club itself. I just hung out with friends that hung out there. Cause since my parents were stricter when I was younger,
Yeah.
I tended not to come home as early as most. I stayed at school to like do homework, study,
Uh,
and hang out with friends. And usually they would be chilling in the CAD room, which is where I learned like Premiere, like a little bit of it,
mhm.
and then in the woodworking slash metalworking room, and I learned how to do some woodworking stuff and some metalworking stuff from there. And that's the closest thing. Like it wasn't the only other club I actually put time and effort into is Ultimate
Yeah.
for like extracurricular. That was the only thing, because that's the only thing that I had like a good amount of passion in.
Hmm.
Like as much as like I loved physics as a high schooler, and even now I still really like physics, and not like real world, but more theoretical. Like that really interests me. So, but I didn't really join any science clubs or anything of that sort. But
Okay.
like the handy working stuff actually comes in handy sometimes, especially because like my parents are getting old and like I know how to build and fix stuff.
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, it works out. Yeah.
How about your interest in music? How did you find that passion, like the piano, per se?
Um, it came out really early. I think even before I moved here to Canada, because my dad has an instrument called a bandoria, and it's like a 16-string guitar. It's like the size of a ukulele, and you play it with a pick.
Hmm.
And he would always play that. He even like to this day, he would still play. He has like three of them in his room. Um, and from there, I was like, oh, cool, music. It's pretty. It sounds nice, and it looks so intricate. Like your fingers are all over the place, and you're like, yeah, your hand or your one hand is like strumming all the strings at the same time, and it sounds amazing. And I got really intrigued by that. He learned how, or he knew how to play guitar too, so I would always like play guitar, but I would play it as a kid, like on the floor and just like strumming it like this, and like playing like my fingers on the frets and just doing this, right?
Yeah.
But my parents saw like, oh, he looks to be interested in music, so they, what's it called? They got me my first keyboard ever, which is literally right here. This is my first keyboard I've ever gotten.
They'll have it.
I still have it. Um, but they had me practice piano, and they're like, they had a family friend actually teach me for a couple months, and afterwards, wait, you're actually not too bad at this. Like, okay, cool. Here, we're gonna take you to actual lessons.
Mhm.
Cool. And then I lost my passion because they were super strict for lessons. Like I played music because it was fun and like, it sounded really nice, and I love the fact that I was able to play something so beautiful with my own fingers. But with all the theory and all the tests, I was like, this is losing its spark. I don't know why I'm still doing this. I told them like, I don't really want to do this anymore. And
Yeah.
you can see too, like I'm losing my passion in it. They're like, okay, we'll get you out. And then afterwards, like all I did was learn enough piano for me to be able to find a piece that I want to play and be able to learn it
Yeah.
and make myself happy, right?
Yeah.
And then that's where piano is. Like that's where piano is with me right now, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with guitar, I learned guitar actually in high school. My last 2 years, there were guitar classes, and I took beginners and advanced. I learned how to play guitar there, and it's the exact same thing with piano. I learned it enough to be able to play songs that I want to learn how to play.
Mm-hmm.
And then same thing with ukulele. I picked that up by myself because it was super similar to guitar. And now, like for me, each instrument kind of has like a different purpose. Like for guitar, ukulele, it's mainly to accompany singing or accompany someone else. And then for piano, it's strictly, at least at the moment, for my own personal like benefit, like in terms of mental state.
Yeah.
Right? It gets me out of places where I don't want to be. Um, and yeah, ever since then, I really love music. Like even if I'm not playing it, like I love listening to music. And Spotify, thank you for existing. That's the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Alrighty. So with all that you've done back in like high school and stuff, what would you say your high school stereotype was? What did people see you as?
Social butterfly.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because again, like what I said, we had, even though everyone was super inclusive, everyone had still like they still had their different groups,
Mm-hmm.
right? So depending on the day and how I'm feeling, I could go to one group and be fulfilled with like through one way, and then another day be fulfilled another way, right? Like
Yeah.
for example, if I'm feeling super, like if I'm really energetic one day and I want to, get rid of some energy, I could hang out with the jocks and then just like play basketball in the gym and hang out and do whatever. If I'm feeling a little bit more melancholy, music room, and then the people who just play music, they're
Yeah.
usually just there, right? If I'm feeling more, I don't know, hype, I guess this is the word. I'd hang out with a crew that parties a lot and like does whatever. Um, but yeah, I mean, the biggest thing with me is that people tried to make fun of me for being short, which is really funny because I learned really early on that I just have to point out the fact first and make fun of it myself first, and then and everyone stops talking about it. Because like I think when I was a grade 11, that was when I was comfortable with my height, and I just didn't. I stopped caring
Yeah.
about it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And even now, you can see like, hey, yo, I'm short. Who else points it? No one really, except one person. But even then, like, dude,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. Make fun of me. Like, I make fun of myself more than you could ever, so it doesn't hurt, anyways. So, yeah, social butterfly would be like my stereotype, more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, they would call me the girl because I hung out with the girls a lot. Because again, like, growing up with girls, it was like, okay, again, I knew how to interact with them.
Talking about height and how you brought up bullying back then, you said
Mhm.
your friends were there to support you, but specifically, what did you go through and how did you actually stand up for yourself and like move past it all?
Oh, the standing up for myself was more or less being able to poke fun at myself,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because in the sense, like it it deterred my bullies from actually making fun of me. Because then
Yeah.
once I make fun of whatever they make fun of, there's nothing for them to make fun of anymore, and then they get bored and then they move on,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, when it comes to like there was physical bullying too, and that only happened like
Oof.
maybe twice.
Okay.
Like it wasn't bad or anything, but it was stopped pretty fast because my friends were there, and
Mm-hmm.
they pushed the guy aside. Like, okay, no, okay. That's more or less how the interaction went. Like, no, like, yo, stop it, chill, okay. Then he left. That's it. Yeah. I mean, like from then, like I learned how to fight. if like we're looking at physical attributes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, like earlier on, like I said, if like once you have me on your side, I will be there to support and protect.
Hmm.
Like I mean that like literally. I like quick story is, was it like early 2019, one of my friend girls, a guy hurt her and like emotionally, and I like approached him and he got butthurt because I was approaching him, and TLDR, I knocked him out because
Hmm.
yeah, I had to protect myself because he was getting really aggressive towards me. So he came towards me, but I was like, yeah, no. And then, pow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a fighter by any means, but like, yeah, if you're hurting the people I love, then that doesn't fly.
Hmm.
Like physical violence is like the last thing on my mind, like the last thing I would like resort to, but like again, at the end of the day, I was protecting myself, protecting the people I love, so it ended up happening. And I was actually surprised myself. I'm like, yo, you're tall as F, and then you're on the ground, chill, dude. Yeah. Yes.
Considering that that was going to be my next question, were there any other encounters where you found yourself in physical altercations or fights?
there was a, it was only those two times.
Okay.
One with when I was in high school and my friends like helped me out there,
Yeah.
and the second time with the guy who got aggressive with me.
Hmm.
Yeah, and those are the only two times. I mean, considering my personality and how I am as a person,
Yeah.
most don't look to pick fights with me anyways, because
Hmm.
I feel like there's not much to pick like a fight about, right? Like
Yeah.
there's, excuse me, I bro. I had far
All
right
good.
before this, and I'm getting like,
You
yeah, but
did. Uh-huh.
yeah, but yeah, there's not much. Again, there's no. Most people don't have a reason to like have a fight, like pick a fight with me. Like I'm just a dude that's chilling, like having fun. And most people just leave me alone, right? So yeah.
For sure. Another question. So, have you ever sustained a severe injury in your life?
Physical,
Yeah.
major injury. The worst thing that I could think of. Okay, two instances. Okay, never mind. Yeah, two. We'll say two. When I was in elementary, I didn't know how to tie my shoelaces. So when we were doing our like block run of the morning, I tripped, and then
Mhm.
like a good amount of my nose scraped off.
Ugh.
That was the one, and the other time was when I went nationals in 2015, and I I sprained my ankle
Hmm.
because a dude stepped on me.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's the only other time. Like I don't get physically injured a lot. I mean, if you think stubbing my toe is one, then I guess that's one, or hitting
Uh-huh.
my funny bone. But more or less, there's not much. I think there's one. I don't remember how it happened, but I have some lower back problems. I'm not sure how it became, but I lost a lot of flexibility
Yeah.
since then, right? And I still feel like some pressure and like tightness, but other than that, there's really not much. So yeah.
All right. Let's talk about your work experiences. So, you could give us
Mhm,
an overview of everything you went through since the first one and then up until what
mhm.
you're doing today.
Okay. Well, initially, I started off with a paper routes. I was a paper boy for like a month or two.
Mhm.
Um, I left it because they paid me $30 a month. So I was like, yeah, no, this isn't good. $30 a month, it doesn't do much. Um, it gave me a lot of respect for the people who actually do it, because it's a lot of papers. I only had one street, but that was a lot of work, especially when it's raining. And all I had was like a little trolley to like pull my papers in and to get wet. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's that was humbling, at least, and gave me a lot of respect for the people who do like a lot of like those menial jobs. But after that, I worked retail in this one store. It's like a car parts store, like hardware store. Think of it like a hardware store, but with kitchen appliances and like patio furniture and stuff. It's actually the same thing, the same store I was in with my friend, my IRL friend today. Like earlier, we
Uh,
were just chilling in the same store.
yeah.
But I did that for I think one. I did that for 1 quarter because I wanted to at least get some money before going into post secondary. So okay, there's that. After that, what did I do? I worked as as a host slash server slash expediter for a restaurant
Mm-hmm.
for how long? I'm gonna say 3 years. Yeah,
Pretty lengthy. Yeah.
3 lengthy years. Oh, boy, was I happy to leave when I did. Um, yeah. Actually, from there, I learned how to talk to people really easily. It got me out of my comfort zone because, you're forced to create a conversation and create like an enjoyable atmosphere for people, despite of however their day was going, right? Like you pick up on like little hints, like okay, do they want to be talked to? Do they want a conversation? Do they just want to be alone? Like you
Yeah.
learn like social cues from there, right?
True.
Um, and yeah, being able to start conversations, right? Being what's it called? I don't know the term, but being sociable, um,
Mm.
approachable. um, but that brought me out of my shell quite a bit, especially because in church, actually, I ended up becoming the president for like a certain age group, so I would have to do like monthly meetings in front of a lot of people, and that helped me with public speaking. And then just being impressionable through working at a restaurant actually helped out a lot, and that's kind of the reason why I am who I am right now. Just being able to talk to how many people, being like a content creator per se on
Yeah.
Twitch, um, and just being able to provide content slash entertainment to people who want to watch. Because yeah, that's another big reason why I like just chatting, because I think I know I can talk and I
Mm-hmm.
can create conversations and just poke fun and whatever, and contents, do it for the content. Yeah. Um, and then after restaurant job, I worked at retail again, mostly into telecommunications. So you're looking at like phone slash home services like TV, internet, and security, like stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? Um, that was a big change of pace from serving, just because you don't have your rushes, right? You don't have like a morning, like a breakfast, lunch rush, um, a dinner rush, but it through that kind of helped me as a person just learn how to be more attentive to smaller details.
Mm.
Despite majority of like Canadian plans being really simple and not much really going into it, but actually going into different people's accounts and piecing like things together, especially if there's a billing problem, someone comes in with a billing problem, like I would have to go like months into their history just to find out what the source of the problem was, right? And like understanding why this current charge is still here, what kind of plan they have, why is this happening, and then phone stuff. Actually, that's a big thing about me. Real quick, is ever since high school up to now, I love consumer tech, like
Mm-hmm.
especially mobile consumer tech. Anything you can take out, or even just like at home stuff. I love consumer tech, and I think that's the biggest reason why I loved working in that telecommunications job, because it connected myself to something I was actually super passionate in.
Yeah.
And I love new up and coming technology. Like seeing the phones for the first time before anyone else. I'm like, oh wait, this is so sick. Like I got like look at the iPhone 12, beautiful, so delicate, like a child.
Mm.
Um, but that was fun for me. Again, helped me being more like, yeah, calm down, just be more delicate with my work, because one like small misclick on someone's account can change like a lot down the line. And yeah, there's that. And then I actually left that job just last year,
Last
and
year. Okay.
I went into a marketing job. It was a marketing agency. I ended up leaving that a week in, just because from what they marketed on the site, it wasn't really what they were looking to get me to do. It was something
Oh.
completely different. So I
Uh-huh.
was like, this sucks. So yeah, I was kind of jobless for a little bit, but also like ever since right now at the moment, I'm actually working for my parents' company,
Mm-hmm.
which goes towards loans, debt consolidation, travel, and immigration. So I've been working for them ever since like back then. I never considered it a job per se because it was just small menial tasks that they had me do.
Yeah.
But just recently I'm like, okay, I took up more responsibilities. I have to deal with more clients. So it's like, okay, I'm getting paid for this. There's
Mm-hmm.
more things I have to worry about. To wake up early some days. Sometimes degenning wasn't too bad because it matched up with Philippine time, so I was fine with it when I had to send in documents or whatever. But at the moment, that's what I'm doing, as well as I actually started a company with a friend where we do floor plans and virtual tours for houses on sale or on the market.
Uh-huh.
So if a client's looking to sell a house, we do their floor planning to put onto whatever site they're posting it on, virtual tours, the photos for the house for marketing, as well as videos. So that's what I currently do. Yeah,
Gotcha.
parents' company and my own company. So
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Okay, so questions first off with your customer experience, like face face on, right? Do you have any like memorable stories? Maybe like people that give you a hard time or just crazy.
Uh, I mean, I know, especially working in a restaurant, there's a lot of people who gave you a hard time.
Yeah.
But honestly, that I just took that as the norm. Like I came, like from my restaurant job, especially, I've learned to just hope for the best, but expect the worst. Like don't expect anything to actually happen that you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because life happens, right? You can't dictate what life's gonna give you, either it be whether it be lemons or like coal, right? But that being said, because I kind of tuned out the negativity, I've picked up on a lot of positive things actually. Like the meat, like those are the bigger things that I remember.
It's
Like
good.
for example, I think one time was it wasn't with the restaurant job, but it was with the telecommunications job where a client came in and she actually was one of my regulars from the restaurant job. And we
Mm-hmm.
talked about like a good 2 hours and like how we were doing, catching up with like our lives. And she she came back again like the day after, and she wanted to thank me for like the help that I've given her, like at my new job, as well as being an amazing server, or for her words, an amazing server at the restaurant job. She came in with actually a gift. She came in with a Polaroid camera. I actually have it.
Oh.
It's like a pink Polaroid camera.
Uh-huh.
Because we were talking about how she doesn't know how to use it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I love playing with that. Like it's fun. I wish I had my own, but like I don't really have money to spend on something like that at the moment, even though it could be fun." She's like, "Oh yeah, here, you can take it. I'm not gonna get it. Here's like 3 packs of film because I'm never gonna use it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure you're gonna put more use into it." I'm like, "Oh my god, awesome!" And I took so many photos with it. Um, and yeah, that's one time. Another time was just this one very lovely couple came in and gave us hot chocolate because it was cold, it was snowing. It was very sweet. They're like, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, tell Fred I said thanks. He was great with our food, very entertaining, super funny." I'm like, "Okay, this is very sweet." Um, and yeah, that's one of the two highlights. There's none other that I can really think of at the moment, but
Yeah. No worries.
yeah, I learned again. I learned to tune out a lot of negative stuff. At least like later down the line, like when you're dealing with negative stuff at the moment, of course you can't. I,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, my hamster is. She's running on her wheel right now,
Oh, okay.
and I'm getting distracted. Pearl. Yeah, she's
All
just
good.
right behind me.
Uh-huh.
Nah, but yeah, at least like a couple months in, I learned how to tune out negativity and at least being able to pick out positive things that are happening in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And just positivity in general. Yeah.
So, next question. What advice would you give to like starting your own business?
Um, I'll be honest with you. I did none of the work for starting up the current company that I'm partnered with,
Hmm.
or like my friend and I. She actually my friend, she didn't even start it either. It was this idea was pitched out from her sister, who's actually a realtor, and she was like, "Hey, a lot of our clients have been asking for this, but we don't provide it. This would be a great way for you to make some money, right?" And I'm like, "Okay, cool." Especially considering like what I really like doing, which is like photography, videography stuff,
Yeah.
right? Um, it aligned really well with it. Um, I guess like if we're looking for any type of advice, is just have connections, network a lot,
Hmm.
right? Don't burn bridges, or try not to, anyways. Um, and yeah, that's my business advice, anyways. Just network a lot and
For sure.
be acquainted with people. That's a really big thing for growing as well. Growing, especially in a business.
All right. So before we move on, do you need to take a break or anything?
I'm gonna check up on Pearl.
Yeah, go for
Let's
it.
see
Go
what
for
she's
it.
doing. Okay.
No worries. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Getting into more topics relative to social stuff, social life stuff. Thank you, Simon. Thank you for all the shoutouts. I really appreciate it. Chill. What's up, Chill?
Yo, chill.
This guy.
This guy. Yeah, she's just chilling. I think she's antsy. She wants to get out
Ah,
in like probably later, like whenever the podcast done. I think she wants to run in her ball.
okay.
Yeah. So we're chilling.
So you're good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
All right, moving on to social life aspects. Talk about your experiences within the partying phase, clubs, raves, all that sorts of stuff.
Partying phase, clubs, raves. I have never gone to a club and I have never gone to a rave.
Hmm.
Just they weren't things I was really particularly interested in.
Yeah.
Just the aesthetic, the environment didn't seem like my type of thing.
Hmm.
Like a bunch of people just jumping up and down to music, just like eardrums bursting. I don't know about that. It, at the moment, it looks like something I would be kind of
Open to?
willing to open to now, at least,
Uh-huh.
but it's not one of my priorities. And even partying, like I didn't party in high school. I went to one. It was
Hmm.
kind of boring. I it was, I'm sorry, it was kind of boring.
All good.
I went to another one when I was like 2017. That was more fun. That was a lot more fun. It was really far. It was kind of dangerous because it was in a region in Greater Van where it's super hilly. So, and it was snowing. It was like a massive like blizzard that day or that night. Excuse me. But yeah, to get to the Airbnb that my friend booked, like ooh, that was scary. Plus,
Mhm.
I only had all seasons on. I didn't have winter tires, so it was even scarier.
Ooh.
Like it was so bad to the point where I was trying to drive through a Church's Chicken, like the drive-through of a Church's Chicken. I don't. Do you have Church's Chicken out there?
I haven't tried it. I don't even know if it's in my. I
Okay,
don't
so
think so.
it's basically just a fried chicken place. Everyone was craving Church's,
Mhm.
and I was the closest one there. I couldn't get. There was a little hill in the drive-through, and I couldn't get over that. That's how bad the snow was. Like I had to, I had to walk my ass like in the snow to the drive-through window, and be like, "Hey, I need this much chicken," and then just me standing beside the window with like a truck behind me. I'm like, "Hey, what's up? Thanks." pay for the chicken and dip, but yeah. Um, but I would say, yeah, as fun as parties are, or at least like the 2017 one I went to, and like a couple in like 18, 19, like they weren't ever a priority for me.
Yeah.
Like I never really looked forward to getting lit with people. Like
Mhm.
me as a person, I very much enjoy my one-on-ones. I
Yeah.
prefer one-on-ones over groups. I'm not saying I'm gonna shy away from groups,
Mhm.
right? But again, I like getting to know
The
people,
intimate
catching up
settings.
one-on-one.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially.
Got it.
Um, yeah, but I mean, if there's a party, like, yeah, I'm down. Yo, if you guys are coming down and we're, I mean, yo, say less. Um, yeah, just make sure I don't drink too much. Okay, Wilson.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, I think. Wait, do you know why? Like, I tell people to make sure I don't drink too much. I think I told you. I don't know
Well,
if I
we're
told
we're
you.
actually that's like my next few questions. So
Okay, go.
that's perfect timing. So since we're gonna talk about alcohol and drinking, right? Let's start with your first experience.
First experience.
Yeah.
That was when I was in high school. That was I drank like maybe 3 drinks, and then that was it. Again, it was really boring because the environment was like the people we were with was eh. Like I was with my friends, and I don't know why my homeboy at the time he brought his little sister and her friends.
Mhm.
So it was like this is weird. Like cuz I since he's my homeboy, I think of his little sister as well as her friends as my siblings. Like
Yeah.
my little siblings. So it's like what the heck? This is weird. Like I feel weird drinking from them. I feel weird watching them drink. What the heck? And then yeah, that's why it's kind of boring. Like I didn't try to drink too much
Yeah.
or anything. Yeah, made sure everyone was getting home safe. Whatever. Being like, you know, big brothers.
Mhm.
Being the kuya. Oh yeah, yeah. That was my first drinking experience.
Okay.
Boring.
And now,
Watching out for myself.
what type of drunk would you classify yourself as? And then this is where you could also talk about some stories about yourself.
I have one story which is amazing, but let me see. I have it depends on how much alcohol I have. Like classify myself as
Hmm.
what kind of drunk. Actually, I know, yeah, it really depends. Like I can be a really like a clingy person where like I'll just be super endearing to everyone, to like reminding everyone how much I love them.
Hmm.
If I find one, there's one person I'm really comfortable with, I'll like hang on to them the entire night.
Hmm.
Like I'll just be with them. Um, and I'm a physical touch kind of person. Like that's my main love language. So I'll be giving a lot of people hugs
Hmm.
and like getting up close, um, and just like holding on to people's arms and just like hugging on them like that.
Yeah.
But that's not even the worst thing because I don't know why this happens, and I don't know how I realize this. But if I if I drink too much, my clothes start coming off. So, um,
Okay.
yeah, because I remember one time I had a thing at my place, and it was like a smaller group of friends. I think it was like less than 10. But I don't know why, but at one point I took off my shirt, and then everyone was too drunk to realize it that all the guys took off their shirts. And
Uh,
then like I think a good like 1/2 hours in, like my pants were off. I was just chilling in my boxers, and then like sooner or later the guys just like followed suit and like, hey yo, we're all in our boxers, and I'm just like, okay, cool, this is happening. Why? And then from then on, I was like, wait, if I get drunk, I get naked. It's so bad. And the thing is, like, with that one specific party, my friend's girlfriend was there too,
mhm.
and everyone was like drunk, except her. So she was taking care of everyone. Um, And it was this is one story, but I remember one time I was in my parents' room and I was just like, I really wanted a hug because I'm like a hugging kind of drunk, right? So I was like her name is Vicky, but I was like just calling her name, Vicky, like like the the drunk call when you're trying
Yeah,
to
yeah,
reach out
yeah.
to someone, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like, oh yes, yes, what's up, hi Fred? What? Are you okay? I'm like, do you have to throw up? Like, no, I want to hug. And then she's like, okay, it's okay, you'll be fine. And yeah, I just get really intimate with people
Uh-huh.
when I'm like that. Like another story is I will call like I'll drunk call friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never drunk called an ex, but I've drunk texted an ex, which is kind of monk W.
Ooh,
But
okay.
like nothing came out from it. Like okay, I remember these drunk texts, like reading them in the morning. I was just like, hey, like I read through it. I'm just like, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm drunk right now. But I just want to remind you that I really appreciate you. It sucks that whatever happened between us happened, but I really hope you're doing well. I'm doing well too. I'm still getting over whatever I can tell because I'm still thinking about it, even though I'm drunk, even though I thought that I'm over it. But just want to let you know that you're a beautiful person and I don't regret spending time with you. Hopefully, you're doing well. Um, if ever you're comfortable and if I'm over everything, let's hang out and we'll
Mhm.
be friends. And that, yeah,
Dang.
it's like super wholesome
Yeah.
considering that I'm like intoxicated, right? Um, and then drunk calls to friends, just like, hey, just want to let you know that I love you. And when like those calls, like all you hear is breathing
Yeah.
over that. It's like, um, I just I forgot. It's just a lot of that, and just like I love you, appreciate you, thanks for being a friend, thanks for being homie, and then that's like the conversation more or less.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, but I think my if you want to know like an intoxicated story, like my worst one was when I went to visit friends in New York.
Okay.
Um, so this was the first night I was the first day I landed, like that evening. Like the most I've done that day was drop off my stuff at the hotel, get brunch, and go to a rec room where like you destroy stuff like with hammers and sledgehammers and stuff,
Yeah.
right? And after that, like those are the only two activities I did, and I I ended up heading down with. This is actually with Rue and user ID, Rue Yemi user ID,
Hmm.
right?
That's so cool.
And Pring, he's another Twitch streamer. He hasn't gone live for a little bit, but that's chill. But if you go to Rue's stream or John's stream, they can definitely tell you the story too. I'm very open about it. But we went to like a Japanese street food restaurant where it's Japanese street food with rice and whatever, right?
Hmm.
And yeah, they just kept handing me drinks. I'm like, hey Fred, this is your first night. You can turn up. I'm like, okay, sure. Drinks on drinks, and we ended up going to a bar. Drinks on drinks on drinks. Um, and it was bad because I ended up drunk calling my girlfriend at the time, and apparently I said something to piss off her best friend, whom she was with at like that evening,
Uh-oh.
and it was it was so bad that her best friend ended up like texting me a massive paragraph in the morning,
Hmm.
saying like I don't like how you're associated with people and this and this and this. But after like explaining myself, it was all good. But anyways, after that, like I got I blacked out. Like I blacked out after leaving the bar, and it was to the point where like, I ended up losing a piercing, and I lost my glasses. Like one that's like attached to my ear, and another thing that I'm using to like see. I ended up losing everything when I was like pissed black drunk, like blacked out drunk. And then I woke up in Brooklyn. My hotel was in Chelsea, which is like a good 30 to 40-minute drive from each other. And yeah, Pring was driving us. I tried taking off my clothes in the car because I was so drunk.
Hmm.
But Yeah, I told John and I mean, they're like, yeah, like if I get too drunk, clothes come off. They're like, oh shit, it's actually happening. They're like, no, Fred, keep your shoes on, keep your pants on. Okay. And yeah, woke up in Brooklyn. John was kind enough to drive me all the way up to to yeah, Manhattan. So thank you them. I love you.
Little shoutouts, nice.
Hmm.
All right. So with your drinking experience, what would you say your favorite and least favorite drinks are?
Um, yeah, I'll go with soju. Soju is you know, we love soju here. I think Chill was talking about feeding me like hella soju when he's here or something. Um, but
True.
like I'll be honest with you, I love fruity drinks. They taste amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Just and they're like extremely dangerous because it's like you don't
Keep
know
up.
if some yeah, you don't know if like you're actually drinking that much because it just tastes like juice at that point, right? There's actually there's a shot that one of my friends from Vancouver Island, she had me try when she visited me, but it's I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word, but it's called God's yeah, yeah. Am I allowed to
Okay.
say the word on
Yeah,
here?
you can.
Okay, okay. It's called the God's Vagina Shot, and it's basically equal parts regular soju and blue hypnotic, and it's actually really good. And she fucked me up when she was visiting me, so thanks. I appreciate that. It wasn't
Nice.
as bad
Okay.
as the New York trip, but there's that. But and if everything, if there's no soju, no fruity drinks, then just the regular beer is fine. Like I'm chilling. Yeah, I actually like beer. I don't know if a lot of people like beer, but it's yeah, I like it.
And then least favorite?
Least favorite? Oh, it's, I forgot what it's called. It's Crown Royal. I hate Crown with my life, dude. You have no idea how many of my like IRL friends they all say they hate Crown, but in every single party we go to,
It's
the only
always
thing we
there.
have is Crown. It's only that, or like Grey Goose. I'm just like it doesn't make sense.
Oh.
You always oh, and I don't like Fireball. Fireball's okay, but I don't like how in the morning every like the entire house just smells like cinnamon. Because I remember vividly this one time I had a thing at my place. Um, all we had to eat in the morning was cinnamon toast crunch, and everyone just remembers the Fireball taste in their mouth from the night before, and like couldn't eat any of it. It was kind of sad. So yeah.
Okay, talking about some of your interests. Current favorite artist and song.
Oh, current favorite artist and song. Let me check my Spotify real quick.
For
Um,
sure.
at the moment, are these two individual things or
Yeah, separate.
oh separate? Um, at the moment, a song that I really like is Hannah by Tiffany Day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just because it kind of hits me like really personally. Um, and an artist I'm talking about an artist that I like at the moment or just someone I like in general.
That you would consider your favorite at the moment.
Favorite at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little harder because my like songs and everything is just all over the place. If I had to pick
Yeah.
an artist, it would either be Keshi or Silk Sonic, which is Anderson Paak and Bruno Mars. Because Keshi for the down bad vibes, but Silk Sonic for like the old school type vibes,
Mm-hmm.
which is like what I'm really into. I think you can tell because I sang nothing during your
Uh-huh.
talent show. Yeah, like I love old school songs, especially because I can sing to it. Like, cause I feel like personally I can't sing to pop songs.
Mm-hmm.
My voice is too. It's been tuned for like older style songs like Frank Sinatra. I love singing Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra, Michael Bublé, yes sir.
All right, that was artist and song. All right, give us a top five in the following categories. So, anime, if you're into that, movies, and shows.
Okay, anime. Number one. Is it movies? Anime movies or anime series or both? Either or.
You could just do both. Like if you want to
Do both.
combine it, like for example, people you would usually say Marvel movies, so
Mm-hmm.
you could just compact them into one. But for
Okay,
anime,
okay,
same thing.
okay. Anime. I haven't watched a lot. I've watched a good amount. I would say number one for me would be, I forgot the name of it. It's about a girl that lost her voice and something about an egg. And she's in high school and she has to sing in a musical. I don't know if anyone knows what it's
Maybe
called.
chat can help.
Yeah, maybe Jack can help. You guys help me out.
I'm pretty
But that's
outdated.
the yeah, that's number one for sure.
Okay.
Number two, probably would be Kimi no Nawa. Um, Your Name would be
Hmm.
second. Third would be Anohana. I like the sappy ones. These are all really sappy. Anohana was nice. Third would be, I mean, fourth. Fourth would probably be Demon Slayer. I
Okay.
really like Demon Slayer. And then fifth, hmm, fifth would either be, um, was it Hero Academia or Shield Hero? I forgot the full title, but Shield Hero. Yeah, that's top five
Anime.
for anime. Yeah.
Okay. And then you could choose shows or movies next.
Shows. I'll do movies. Number one, it's an older one. It's called It's Kind of a Funny Story. I don't know if you know that one. No?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Wait, what's that girl's name? You know, in Meet the Millers? What was the girl's name?
I honestly don't even remember
I
that
don't know.
movie either.
You don't remember the movie? But yeah, it's kind of a funny story just because it hits home. Um, it revolves around like depression and self harm and stuff like that, and like overcoming. So that's
Uh-huh.
number one for me.
Okay.
Second would probably be. Wait, this is hard. How many? I don't. I've watched a good amount of movies, but I
Yeah, but
just
it's
can't
on the
remember
top of
them.
your head. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Second movie. We'll say okay. We'll just do Marvel movies for second right now.
Okay.
Third would be 5 Feet Apart because that's also really sad. And it's like one of the few movies that ever made me cry. Yeah, yeah. 5 Feet
Okay.
Apart.
Okay.
Mm, fourth, I'd probably let me pull up Netflix. Let me see what I recently watched because I tend to rewatch a lot of things. Like I've made it so that I watch It's Kind of a Funny Story at least once every few years because I don't want to forget like the message from it.
Hmm.
Um, Let me see. For fourth, I don't know. I think I can only say those top three because those are the ones that like actually made a difference to me. Like that actually made an impact on.
Yeah. No worries. It's okay.
Yeah, I'll just say those three for now.
And how about shows?
Shows, Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Okay.
I love Avatar. How I Met Your Mother, The Office, um, Rick and Morty, Fire, and what else have I watched? Trying to bring up Netflix again. I would say maybe Pokemon, because I watched so much Pokemon when I was younger, and I can't like. It kind of made me into the gamer that I am now. You feel?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Pokemon. Okay. Since you mentioned that, favorite Pokemon.
Favorite Pokemon? Which generation? I can only name up to Gen 4.
No, if you had to just pick one of
Oh,
any
just
gen.
pick one
Yeah.
out of any gen. Oh. Um Favorite Pokemon for me would probably be Flygon or Metagross. Because Metagross looks sick
Ooh,
and Flygon
okay.
is like they're both like
Gen 3, got
pseudo
it.
yeah, pseudo legendary. I grew up with Gen 3, so yeah.
Okay, so the next topics, as of now, what are your goals and aspirations in life?
I only have one goal. And this is like a super generic, but it means a lot to me. And that one goal is to, as cheesy as it sounds, like my one goal is just to be happy.
Mhm.
Because I don't want to limit myself. Like if I say I want to be this in like 5 years or 10 years, like I'm more or less limiting myself to like one little area. But I just want anything. Yeah, my one goal is that anything can happen to me, right? Whether it be bad, good, right? Be any job you in whatever like whatever bracket financially, but still be content and be happy to be where I am.
Yeah.
That's my one goal. Oh, another goal, I want to start a family. I want to find a wife and have kids. I want to actually be a dad, not just a dad on Twitch.
Love it. Okay. Talk about some of the travels and adventures you've been on. Like you mentioned New York, so that's one. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Um, one that I went on when I was younger is I went on a cruise to Mexico with my family and family friends. Stopped by San Diego, went to SeaWorld,
Mhm.
and yeah, we went to Mexico. And then we went on another cruise to Alaska, which was pretty fun. And I went on another cruise to Alaska with my mom in 2019, which is it was okay. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of bored for some of it because the first day I ended up exploring the entire ship, and the ship was kind of smaller than the ones we were on before, so there's not much to do. I
Yeah.
didn't really have a friend to bring along. Um, those are family trips. Also, like the trips I've been to in the Philippines. Um, excuse me, but yeah, I go to Philippines maybe once every couple of years. I tend to not go as often because every time I go, it feels like a special occasion or something. I don't want that to be tainted by going so frequently, right? Um, and another trip would be Toronto. This was actually my first solo trip. I went there because of my telecommunications job. They
Mhm.
had me visit an ad shoot for. They were doing an
Ad shoot.
yeah they were yeah. So it was in Toronto. They flew me out there and they paid for my hotel. I was there for like 3 days in Toronto, and then for the last 2 3 days, I went to visit my friend in another city. I had to take the train there for like maybe 5 6 hours. I stopped in her city. The company actually paid for my hotel in that city, which was awesome. Um, and I got to hang out with an old friend. And then like I met her in 2018. I didn't get to re-meet her till that year of, or no, the year after December 2019.
Mhm.
And I went there, like hung out with her for a weekend, and I came back to Vancouver. And that was my first solo trip, and I actually love flying by myself now, and I love like traveling by myself, and then meeting up with people there already,
Yeah.
and it's a different experience. It's like just to think for yourself. I also made a new friend in Toronto because I was getting burgers and I was actually vlogging. I didn't post a vlog. I actually lost some footage, so I couldn't really make it
Yeah.
anything tangible. So that sucks. But I made a friend, and she actually drove me around. Or like we went back to my hotel room. We ate in a hotel room. We hung out, and then she's like, "Have you? This is your first time in Toronto?" I'm like, "Yeah." So you vlog, right? I'm like, "Yeah." You want me to drive you around so you can see some sights, get some content for your blog? I'm like, okay, cool. Like that was super chill over here. I'm like, okay, sick. So now if I ever go to Toronto, I have a couple of friends from Twitch as well as her, and plus like my other friend, my other IRL. So
Yeah.
super cool.
With that being said, where would you like to travel in the future?
Oh, Europe Not at the moment, but maybe a couple of years down the line, Europe, Japan, Korea, Australia, more cities in the States,
Mhm.
right? In the future, like maybe July, I'd love to go down to like SFLA, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, um, I think Texas would be fun because I know I have a couple friends there, and Florida. Yeah, those are the
Nice.
couple I'd love to go to.
Mhm. All right. Briefly talk about your like passion and interest in editing
Oh,
and like photography too.
yeah. So photography, my passion for photography actually came out like it became more redefined, or yeah, more redefined in 2015. I took a course in high school which um, focused on taking good photos
Mhm.
and like finding the art in wherever you are, like finding symmetrical lines or finding little curves or like details and everything. So that's where my photography came from. And I just ever since then I've on YouTube and TikTok, like I've just see a lot of photography tricks and hacks or whatever. And Instagram, like you'll see a bunch of like photos being taken that are beautiful. I'm like, okay, I want to recreate that. And I just remember it whenever I'm in a place. I'm like, okay, this is how I can take a good photo.
Mhm.
And with video editing, the passion, like I always knew how to do it in high school, and I did a couple projects like editing videos. But I think it definitely came back out in 2019 when I was going through something and I needed one way to cope, and music wasn't enough,
Mhm.
unfortunately. Um, because yeah, music wasn't yeah, no. So with that, it because of like editing videos, it kind of forced me out of the house, which was what I was really lacking in because I was like cooped up in my room playing League of Legends all day. Like, um, but yeah, it gave me a reason to want to explore, and that's why I loved editing videos, or at least taking videos and putting it together.
Yeah.
Because again, it gave me a reason to get out of the house, and it gave me a reason to look for the beauty in everything,
Mhm.
right? And just or else finding some funny content out of everything, like and just piecing it all together, and you can see like a daily vlog, and you can see like the highlights of a day, you can see the highlights of an area of a yeah, like a lake or something, right? And just you can remember memories. And I think that's the biggest thing is just, oh, I remember I was here, I remember I was with these people, I remember what we did and that stuff, and you remember the positive vibes,
Yeah.
because from positive vibes we rise.
Okay. That's the photography and edits. All right, so we're gonna transition into much deeper topics. So
Yeah.
again, at this point, just whatever you're comfortable with. All right. Okay, so give us an overview of all of like the relationships you've been in. You could talk about like how you met, maybe what went down, what you learned from it. So relationships and heartbreak in general.
um I learned about relationships and love super early into high school, like grade 8, when I was super infatuated by this one girl.
Okay.
Um, her parents are crazy, so that's why that nothing came through there. So like she was chill, she was sweet, but then she ended up taking in a lot of what's it called? Like she inherited a lot of personality traits from her parents, which kind of deterred me from it. Like one thing was she was terrible at confrontation, which I realized early on, which is good. Like I need someone who I can talk to about anything, right? Like regardless of it being positive or bad, positive or
Mm-hmm.
negative, like I need someone there. And even if it's towards like one of us, I needed that, and that's then. Um, I'll be honest with you. I've never been in anything official.
Okay.
I've been in something like kind of official. It was like a situationship, but that's the most serious I've ever gone into with anyone. Just because like situations were have never aligned for me to be in any like actual relationship. But yeah, girl number one was then I'll bring up the ones like I remember a lot of the little flings I've had with people, and I remember every single lesson, which is
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I really love about myself is I can bring myself back to those times and understand myself from then. But yeah, girl number one, confrontations. Terrible with him, and her parents were a little crazy. No offense to her and her parents, her family.
Yeah.
But girl number two, we were grade 9. Um, actually, no, there was nothing in grade 9. Grade 10, I remember. She was a person who lived kind of far away, but she was super, super clingy, which was not bad for me because I love the fact that they would give me attention and always ask for attention, and they were very straightforward with it, with what they wanted, right? And that's what I realized. Like I want someone who is straightforward with me, right? It ended up not turning out well because we didn't have good communication, or I wasn't able to provide good communication for her,
Mhm.
and that was like a lesson for me to be able to provide, like some sort of like tangible conversation, be able to conversate about problems that existed, right? Even though I said the other person couldn't like talk about it, I
Yeah, the
realized that I wasn't
confrontation.
the best at it either.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the lesson then. Um, grade 11. Oh, grade 11 was under being able to understand um, whether or not, like, pick up the hint whether or not someone wanted to be just a friend or something more. That was the lesson. But that was her. And grade 12, I learned to shoot my shot. I learned how to shoot my shot. Like, do it. Who cares? We're on this earth for how long? Like, there's you don't got time to just wait around, right?
Mhm.
To wait for the perfect chance. Sometimes you can't wait for the perfect chance. You gotta create that perfect chance, right? The
Yeah.
perfect moment. Um, but that was her. I also learned how to not talk so much. Like I learned how to what's it called? To not vent to so many people because I was way more open from like back then compared to now. Like I would trust everyone with everything, and
Mhm.
that was the biggest lesson. And it wasn't regarding the relationship as a whole, but it's just me understanding how everyone else is, and then just knowing you should pick out people more. Average life expectancy in Canada. 82. I love the facts that come out in chat. It's so fun to read. Thanks, Simon.
Uh-huh.
But I think afterwards, after her, it was 2019. That was the worst heartbreak, because
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
I learned how to walk away. I'm not saying I can walk away really easily now, because it's still really hard. Because when I love someone, I love them a lot,
Yeah.
and it's really hard for me to get away from loving someone so much. But I learned from her that I learned to look for the reasons why I should, and to at least try and get them to change in a sense, right? Like have them understand where you're coming from and why you're looking for changes within the relationship. That's basically it. Holy dude, that 2019 I was so damn bad. It took me a year to get over. You have no
Mm-hmm.
idea. That's terrible, but yeah. Um, and then yeah,
How'd you
I
meet
mean,
her?
what's up?
How'd you meet her? 2019.
Oh, it's just because of coaching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, met her through coaching, and I was like, cool. And she ended up blocking me on everything with no reason. And I learned from a friend that she was actually with someone else. And it was one of the guys, like she was with a guy that she told me I didn't have to worry about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those. I mean, looking, I'm still friends with every girl that I've had a thing with. And like none of us, I'm not on bad terms with any of like the past like situationships or like flings, whatever. Like we're still friends up to now. Like I can hit them up right now and be like, hey, yo, what's up? Hey, cool. Want to catch up? Hey, cool. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2019, that took a toll on me. But I learned how to find more like happiness from myself, which is the biggest thing that I took from it. Is to, because up to then my happiness derived from people, right? And she actually her and I talked about that a lot because she found out that that's like one of my like deeper problems is that I relied on others too much. Like, do you mind if I read one of the texts she sent me?
You can read it. Go for it.
Yeah, because I in my favorites album on my phone, I actually keep things that people send me. Like I'll tell them, hey, I'm screenshotting this and I'm keeping this in my favorites folder because what you said like will help me and it's like meaningful to me. But she said to me, she texted me, she goes, it's only okay to not be okay when it's for a short period. But if you keep extending it, your mind will be stuck on the it's okay to not be okay. And to be honest, that's not okay. We aren't going to be here for any longer than we have to, and we have to use our time wisely. We can't waste it on being sad and down. You have to surround yourself with happy things, even if it's not with people, because a lot of people can't be trusted nowadays. But to be honest, the only thing you need to surround yourself with is yourself. Only you can truly make yourself happy. You're the only person that can truly help and heal yourself. Other people can help too, but you're not with them 24/7. And the only person that is with you 24/7 is yourself. Therefore, you need to befriend yourself, be your own happiness. If you keep telling yourself that you're tired, then you'll end up being tired. So maybe it's the time, maybe it's the same way as being sad and happy. If you keep telling yourself that everything will be alright and fill your mind with positive thoughts, then sooner or later you'll feel happy. You might still be sad along the way, and it's okay to be, but as long as you drag it and you pick yourself up, you can do it. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it does to me. And I've kept that, and every time I'm sad, I'll look at it and be like, that makes sense. And then if I ever forget to just be my friend, be my own friend, and then yeah, nice little reminder. I actually texted her recently, like, hey, yo, I still have this. Do you remember this? She's like, yeah. Like, why do you keep it? Like, it helps me. She's like, oh, that's so sweet. That's cute. Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's that. And the most recent, at least, was last year in August. I was with someone that was cheating on me the entire month we were together. That was a situationship.
Jeez.
And that sucked. Actually, like I learned that someone confirmed it because he was a homeboy and he actually reached out to me and he was like, hey, we should talk about this. And he told me everything. I'm like, okay. I mean, it was 3 weeks after we broke, but it was like, okay, at least I know. And she actually came over to give me a birthday cake on my birthday last year. Like after everything, I was like, oh, that's sweet. I mean, her and I talked about everything. Like, okay, you did what you did. Like at this point, I can't. I have no energy to really care too much. Like, no offense, but like I don't. Yeah, it happened. It sucks. Yeah, but we're still okay. Like, she greeted me. What was it? She greeted me happy New Year. No. She said safe travels when I went to Philippines. She went on vacation too. Said safe travels. Like we're still friends in that sense, but I don't know if anything will stem more from it. Something happens, but it's not something to look for, right? Like,
Yeah.
Stuff happens. And yeah, that's life and love, more or less.
Those relationships and heartbreak. Okay, so based on your experiences, what advice would you give when it comes to relationships?
The thing is with the relationships is they aren't ever gonna be the exact same. Like all your experience, to me at least, all the experiences have been different. Like there are some similarities, but not everything has been like consistently the same. So like, in my opinion, it's really hard to pick one piece of advice for everyone.
Mhm.
But if I were to, like the biggest thing is just I don't know. It's so hard to because there's so much there's different advice for different situations. And that's the thing.
How about general then?
Yeah, like in general, I guess don't be afraid to get hurt. That's a big thing. A lot of people go into it thinking that it's gonna be like sprinkles and butterflies and everything nice and sugar and spice, Powerpuff Girls. I don't know, but I mean, even with the people who are or with the couples that have been together since high school, like they were high school sweethearts and they're still together up to now. Like there's always the problems always arise, right? Like from one side or the other. Sooner or later, someone's gonna get hurt, even if like you don't mean it or it's intentional. But like it's to be expected. At least in my opinion, it's to be expected, and you shouldn't shy from it because at the end, like it just ends up making you a stronger person as a whole. You get to learn more about yourself and your needs and desires. Yes.
Right. So that's advice, but how about red flags? What are your red flags?
Oh, my red flags.
That you've come across or witnessed?
Yeah, I've. The thing is, well, red flags for me at the moment would be. I mean, this isn't for a lot of people, and I know a lot of girls can like argue this, but this is from like my opinion.
Mhm.
Just talking to too many guys. That's just for me, because my experience is it always leads up to something that I didn't like. Just talking to too many guys.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me too is hiding, like hiding facts, hiding information. I know some things are meant to be private, but like it's depending on the relationship and how close you are.
Mhm.
Like, and then especially for myself, like I'm very much a monogamist. Like I don't talk to a lot of people. Like I have a close amount of friends that I talk to. You tell me you don't tell anyone, I'm not gonna tell anyone. I'm not one to like reveal secrets or like share secrets out there.
Yeah.
Like especially if it's your own. The only time I'm ever gonna spill something is if it's it affects me personally,
Mhm.
right? Like if I'm involved with this and I need to, I'm a person. I need to vent it out. If I need to vent it out to a friend, then it's gonna come out because whatever that thing is that's affecting me, then yeah. Again, like the people I vent out to are the ones that I trust the most. So there's that.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, talking to too many guys is for me. Hiding, um, lies. I mean, that's the same thing as like hiding, but blatantly lying is really big. Like even just the really simple things, and you have the need to lie about it. Like, dude, like I'm not gonna judge. I mean, I'm gonna make fun of you maybe, depending on like whatever it is, but depending on what's being lied about, that's a, that's big. And that's why I have like my trust thing, right?
Mhm.
I don't trust too many people. Some people can get it, but if you lose it, it's really hard to get it back.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe we can be friends, but the like the connection that we had is never gonna be the same.
Mhm.
It's just gonna be the generic friendship. I don't know if like you're okay with it, but yeah, that's it. That's what's gonna happen. Because again, I will support and protect two C's. I will attack two, depending. Um, for red flags. Oh, um, this is a personal one, but being too materialistic. That's one thing for me. Cause like me myself, I'm kind of materialistic. I like my whatever is on my desk, like new things, new that. But being too obsessed with getting something new or not being content with what they have is something for me.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it could also be something like to look on positively because okay, they have a goal and they want to get this, but if it's all that they really look for and all they want is to, I don't know, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Like I'm a type of person who likes being content. Right? Again, my goal is to be happy and with where I am. So, yeah,
For sure.
yeah. I don't know if there's any other red flags, but this is a massive red flag for me. Um, I mean, it's not a red flag, but I mean, for some, it's not a red flag, but um, sometimes it depends on how they talk about other people, right? Because if they're so, because maybe that's just my insecurities, but them being able to talk about other people, like if talking about other people negatively, and like depending on how they talk about them, right? If they're just randomly bringing out negative things about people and then complaining about how other people are as a person, I'm like, okay, it's most likely they're going to be talking about me in that sense to other people too, depending on like how their current
Yeah.
relationship is, right?
Mm-hmm.
If all they're doing is like they're ranting about, oh, this person is this and that, and they're comparing other people to them, and just yeah, it's yeah, that's it. I can go on, but I think yeah, we should move on to the next topic.
No, it's whatever you want, honestly.
Yeah.
No, there's no
I
rush.
know,
Okay.
but I don't think there's any other red flags I can personally think of. I mean, I did bring out the confrontation one, which is big because
Yeah.
I love communication, being able to talk one-on-one intimately. That's a big thing for me.
Mhm.
Regardless, positive, negative. Oh, too shallow. I don't. I mean, that's the first thing I usually notice in some people, especially because I'm short. Most girls are like, "Yeah, I prefer a guy who's this tall, who are taller than me, whatever, whatever." I'm like, okay, like, you probably don't care too much about who the person is, right? I mean, like, I'm not saying that everyone is like that, but like, I mean, for myself, I've only ever been with someone who's shorter than me, maybe twice. And every other girl I've had a thing with has been taller. I think the tallest girl I've ever had a thing with was like 5'8", 5'9", which is like a good it's like it's a good difference, right? But like at the end of the day, I was just being me. They ended up falling for me like, hey, what can I say? Um but yeah. Some people are too shallow and they can't deal with it. That just it ends up becoming worse later down the road because yeah, their perception of life is very different from me. And I like looking at things a little bit more deeper, a little bit more cautiously, depending. Right. I tend to be an overthinker too, so yeah. Yeah, that's one thing about me too is I'm very observant. Very, very observant. I can usually pick out things before it's being told to me.
Yeah.
Right. Or like the facts even like brought up. I'm like I take in a lot of clues. I can read hints pretty well. And it's just like this is probably gonna happen. And then more times than not it happens. So yeah.
Okay. Next question. So, with that being said about relationships, what is your ideal type? Could be personal traits or physical characteristics. It's up to you to answer.
I'll answer. I'm just trying to think because
Yeah.
I'll be
no
honest
worries.
with you. I don't have a set type. I've been with a lot of different people. Like in terms of body shape or even personality traits, like everyone has been really different. So I guess the biggest thing for me would be someone who's flexible, not like physically, but like emotionally flexible and in terms of energy. Um, because I know I have days that I can be super, super energetic. Um, and I know some days where I just want to be lazy. And I want someone who can keep up and match my energy, or at least someone who can bring out the different sides of me, right? Because I think we all have I think everyone can agree with me when I say, with the amount of friends we have, some people bring out different things. And sometimes one group of friend or one particular friend brings out a side that we enjoy more, right? So, yes, a girl that can match my energy. Oh, someone who is patient. That's a big thing for me. Um, Despite me being an overthinker and under seeing hints and whatever, I can also be really impulsive. For example, my hamster, I got her the day of. Like one day, I was just like, or my friend visited me from the island, and she was like, "You should get a hamster." Like, I should get a hamster. After we did fly over Canada, I need to write that down. That's something we should take you to when you visit. But her and I did that, and afterwards we went to the pet store and we got a hamster, and now I have a hamster. Her name is Princess Pearl. She's a little black ball of cuteness and love. Um, and someone who's nice. Someone who holds the same values as me. Um, and yeah, I mean, I honestly could really care less about physical traits. I mean, physical traits, in my opinion, is something that you see like off the bat, and that's something that you're attracted to initially. But if they can't match you in terms of emotions and like how you are as a person, it ends up being wasted, right? In terms of like who you are.
Mhm.
Yeah, like the energy that you put into them is gonna be wasted. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so another topic that I normally talk about on the podcast does have to do with mental health. You've mentioned that 2019 has been a really low point. You've also talked about how you cope whenever you're feeling down, right? Like your own distractions and focusing on yourself. So, what other advice can you give to people to like help them, you know, come up from rock bottom?
From rock bottom. The biggest, for me, it's music, right? But this is hard because everyone is different,
Yeah.
and I think that's my advice: is you let's try new things. Because the amount of things that you try, if you don't like it, then you don't know. Like if you don't try something, you're not gonna know if you like it or not. And that's how I found out music was like something that I could use to cope with. Because like with before 2019, I knew that that was something, and I tried it in 2019. And I told you in 2019 that didn't actually help, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I tried video editing and like taking videos, making videos, and that helped me out a lot because I tried it, and it was so intriguing to me that super simple shots could put so much effect, like a low angle versus a high angle, what kind of emotions different things portray. Like for example, like a photo of like above the eye can give a more, excuse me, and give a more, what's the term, submissive vibe. I don't know if that's the right term, but angle above the eye is more submissive, a little bit below the eye is more dominant in terms of the person that's looking at the photo slash video. And just little intricacies like that, just it's an art. Yeah. So for advice in terms of getting out of depression, in my opinion, is find something that makes you happy. I know that's super broad and I know everyone says that, but that's really true. And I hold very close to that statement because only you are gonna know what makes you happy. Like what my friend said, right?
Hmm.
You should be your own happiness. And if you don't know what makes you happy, that's something that I think that you should look for. And regardless if you're in the happy state or in a bad state, trying to find the happiness can also give you a distraction from like your worries.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's my advice.
All right, thank you for that. And describe how COVID-19 has affected your life personally.
Oh, COVID-19. The biggest thing that came from COVID-19 for me was Twitch. I'm not gonna lie. Because I started streaming 2020 June and I was watching in May. That's a good 3 months from when it started.
Mhm.
And I actually became friends again with a person from 2019. And we were talking like consistently during that moment. And then she disappeared again. Like I wasn't blocked on anything, but she just disappeared. And the vibes were off, right? Um, and then, like I said, I went back to my favorites on my Photos app and I found what she typed to me that one day in 2019, how I should be my own happiness and how since I'm the one that's with myself 24/7, I need to find the happiness within myself. So scrolling around on online, what can I do? What makes me happy? And then I realized the biggest thing that I really enjoy doing is talking to people. Like especially because I've coached since 2016 to 2020. I was in customer service for how long? Like me myself personally, like I love talking to people. I like making an impression. I like making people happy. I'm the nice dude that's always there for people, but I can't really do that. Like I can text people. It's not the same. Everyone's going through the same thing. I'm going through the same thing as everyone else. We're all stuck at home doing nothing. And Twitch was the one way for me to be able to reach out further, make new friends, be more of an entertainer in a sense, right? Um, and just being able to connect to people on a more personal level. Like I've made so many amazing friends through Twitch. I think, yeah, like I don't know.
Mhm.
Twitch is such a wholesome place, and I'm gonna tell everyone this, but I told Wilson recently that he is a beacon for Twitch. He is a beacon of light and hope. Like, because I don't know if everyone can really understand, but there, on Twitch, anyways, there's a lot of like malicious activity, whether or not it'd be like really big or really small. Like, there's not the best amount of people, but we love Wilson because he's wholesome and he's so sweet, and he brings
Appreciate
everyone
that.
together, which is amazing, right? And that's what I was looking at when I started in 2020 is because I want to make friends. There's not a lot of people I can hang out with. Not a lot of people are into gaming like me in terms of my IRLs. Like, hey, yo, there's an entire community online that likes playing League, likes talking about video games, likes talking about technology. What the heck? Yo, where was this all my life? And then Valorant came out. I got a PC. Like, yo, now I can connect to even more people. This is my first FPS. Okay, second FPS. Okay, first FPS. I don't count Wii Black Ops. I don't think that's an FPS that should be counted, but yeah, Twitch is an amazing place. I mean, it can be there's its ups and downs, but
Mhm.
COVID-19 helped me rediscover Twitch as a completely different platform. Because before then, I always thought of Twitch as something Pokimane streams on, and Ninja, and Scara, and whoever OTV members. But there was this entire side that I never knew of, and it was all the small content creators that put in a lot more work into their streams and their content versus a lot of the bigger people. All they do is turn on their cam and then everyone shrimps for them. Whereas like everyone, the bottom like 30%, right, regardless of partner or not, even the smaller partners, they put in so much effort into their streams and they care so much about community. And yeah, I love that part. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's COVID-19 talk. Do you need a break before we move on to the next uh
um
topics?
yeah, I'm gonna grab some water real quick actually.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Sick. All hail Wilson. Wilson is the best. Poggy Woggies. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation
Oh,
point. I will
sheesh.
return.
All right. Uh, Thanks everyone for tuning into the podcast. Red Flamer 96, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for the follow. Really appreciate it. I see that you know Fred. And yeah, so at the end, whenever I get to the portion of asking random questions, you guys may ask your own questions that you may have. All you would have to do is just tag me with a question for me to bring up to Fred. So we've gone through a lot of topics so far. We're going to talk about social media aspects of Fred's life. And then after that is when we get into the final few questions that I have. And yep, you guys could definitely ask it. But yeah, it's very enlightening to just hear from everyone's like personal experiences, their life stories. So thanks for the love, guys. You want to date Fred? Okay, Will. What's he so cute? Born that way.
All right.
Alrighty. Ready?
All right. So, which part of the podcast is this?
We're gonna talk about social media aspects of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start things off with what social media platforms are you currently using aside from Twitch?
At the moment, you can look it up. Discord, I consider social media.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is text, online videos, posts, whatever, networking in a sense. Discord, definitely the biggest one. Next is Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm still on Facebook, just because Messenger, people still use Messenger, especially my cousin. So there's that. That's it. What's a photography one again? Visco. That's just for like random like photos that I want to like remember like pretty times. I ran up the stairs and I'm winded. I'm that unfit. It's been a while since I ran, huh? But yeah, those are the current social media platforms that I use, or at least I check every day.
All right. Well, here is when we're gonna talk about Twitch. You briefly mentioned how you saw the platform because of COVID and how you got into it, right? Talk about your early day experiences and even talk about your day ones on Twitch.
Oh, day ones on Twitch, early on experience. She doesn't stream anymore. I'll type it in your chat, but the first stream that I actually was like a part of the community in a sense, and that was super inviting to me was Kalia, Kawanlia. And from there, she was like one of the few Discord like servers I was in, besides the ones that was made by my IRLs. And from her, I don't know if he's still here. Is Tim still here? But Timo 2 is one of my OGs. He was one of the first people in my first stream in 2020. And he still comes by every now and then. We still catch up. I met him IRL when I went to New York, which was sick.
Wow.
Another OG was Will the Thrill 615. And another one was none of them stream anymore because life, but Yeah, I saw Tim was here earlier, but Son of B was another one. Even Lucrity, Lucrity, she was one of the few people who came into my pre-affiliate streams, and she helped me out with like my bots and taught me about so much stuff. She was, and Kathy Lucrity is actually one of the few people that has inspired me to put so much effort into my streams. Like her production quality for her streams and for her chat is like through the roof. Even her Discord server is like amazing, and like the activity there and like how she's able to bring a community together is so sick. Like she's active in her server 24/7 despite the fact that she's doing so much on the side. Like she doesn't even stream, but she's still super active on there. Like she does like TikTok more so than not, but then school 24/7. Plus she has a partnership with HyperX slash Sunny D. I think right now she's with TL, Team Liquid, as some sort of like behind the scenes person, but dude, she just gets striving, like grinding so hard. But like if I DM her, she'll still like, hey, what's up? How can I help you? Right? How are you doing? And like sometimes I'll like FaceTime her, like, hey, can we FaceTime? Like, why? Because I want to talk. Can we see? She's like, okay, and then we'll FaceTime. And yeah, Kathy, definitely one of the OGs. Um, Another one is Alicia. It's just Alicia. She is my Twitch little sister. I even have her on my server, my Discord server. She's in the welcome channel, and it literally says, "P.S. Alicia is my little sister. If you hurt her, I hurt you." And she's one of the few people I got really, really close to on Twitch, and we vent to each other about everything. She tells me her life story, I tell her mine, and we just developed this type of like brother sister bond, which is like amazing. And she actually started streaming too. So if you guys
Yeah.
want to follow her, I know you. I saw you follow her, and yeah, I meant a lot. Thank you so
Mhm.
much, Wilson. Um, Another OG would be Naya NAIUH. She's another. She helped me with my PC. Another, and then the biggest, one of the biggest shout outs I can give would be Moonfishy. Um, I've been in her stream since day two. I haven't been to a stream recently, but I go by like here and there. But yeah, she's one of my like one of the friends that I made like early on. It was so funny. She modded me one time, and she was just like, she Discord DM me. She's like, "Hey, you're in my streams a lot. I gave you mod. Don't fuck up. If you do something, I'ma ban you." And it was so funny. And from her, I learned how to like mod correctly. Actually, like I've never been a mod at anyone's streams. And when she gave it to me, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I googled it and I researched and I like looked up all the commands online for like an entire night. And she streamed the day after. I'm like, hey, I know how to do all this. Let me help out. I can be a good mod now. um, and yeah, those are like my OGs. I can, if I can remember correctly. Um, and also there's Jordan 6 times 111, and those are the rest. Jordan, if you're watching, I love you. I'm gonna visit you one day. Um, but yeah, those are my day ones, or at least like my first month being on Twitch, and they helped me out immensely. Regardless if it was like through bots, my actual stream, or just emotionally, they were there, and I wouldn't be where I am without them. So
All right. As of now, what is your current schedule and what categories do you like to stream?
right now, I do not have a schedule. I stream when I feel like streaming, which at the moment it's not that often, I'll be honest. I'm actually looking to stream more soon. So I think one of the streams that's coming up, because have forgotten to do them, also I have not made time to do it, would be a 50 nugget challenge in a bathtub. So
Mhm.
yeah, look out for a 50 nugget challenge in a bathtub. I know I promised a bathtub stream like since last year, and the nugget stream since my birthday, but yeah, we're gonna get to it. It's being planned out. Don't worry, don't worry.
For sure.
Yeah, but for current categories, um, music and just chatting. That speaks the most to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I can be myself like with those categories. Just chatting because I can talk to chat, I can interact. Because when I play games, I forget that I have a chat and I'm not, and I forget that I'm streaming.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like, yeah, I just like talking to people. So it's like, okay, yeah, just chatting and music would be my top ones. But if I do play games with people, then I'll play games. It'll be usually with people who are also streaming. So yes.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
All right. Favorite memories that you've made so far on Twitch?
On Twitch,
Whatever comes to mind.
my favorite. It's a really dumb, but one of my favorite memories was with Alicia. This is one of the few streams that she was a part of, and this is why we got really close. But I had a drunk stream for some reason, and she stayed up with me all night until I slept, and she had school the day after. Like during this time, she was still 17, and she was like she's looking after her kuya, her big brother, and it was the sweetest thing ever. And she since this was like still early 2020, I was still not over 2019 since again
Yeah.
it took me like a year plus to get over. So excuse me, I was ranting to her about it the entire night, and I was like, "Oh my god, thanks Alicia for being my friend. I love you." She's like, "I love you too." I'm like, that was more or less the night, but yeah, that was one of my favorite memories on Twitch. Is just that. Also, it's not really a favorite memory, but I also waxed my legs on stream. That was fun. So,
Ooh.
do it for the content.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, as of now, what are your specific goals when it comes to Twitch?
Hmm. Well, right now for a goal, do it for me. I mean, I I initially did Twitch because I wanted to have fun and find happiness from it, which I have. Whether or not it be streaming or like just participating in other people's streams is just find my version of happiness from it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I, as much as nice as it sounds, I'm not looking to grow immensely. Not like a partner would be nice. Having like 100 plus viewers, 1,000 plus viewers would be nice, right? Like, don't get me wrong, gifted subs and donos are nice too, but like, I'm not looking for any of that necessarily. Like, I'm just looking to build a community. I'm looking to bring together people just like yourself, right? Like make sure people are having fun. Um I mean, in a sense, like I have my small group of active community members that come out every like anime night. They come out, we just hang out in VC, play Minecraft, fall asleep during VC,
Mm-hmm.
which I did last night. um, but just have fun, make friends. That's my biggest goal. Just be happy. Yes.
Nice, love it. Okay. Do your parents know that you stream, and what are their thoughts if they do?
Oh, initially they had no idea what it was, and they're like, "Why are you doing this? You could be using up your time for something way better." Robin, I'm sorry. um, yeah, initially they're like, "Why are you doing this? This doesn't seem to be effective of your time." But they see how much effort I put into it, like how passionate I am about it. Like even just little things people don't notice about my streams, like my transitions, how much effort I put into like little transitions, little sources that's put on the side just to make it look nicer, cleaning everything up. Like doing that's fun, and I think that's why I like modding too. Is just being able to help someone clean up what they have and just like find joy in just their stream. right? Like
Yeah.
none of the content, but just pressing start and like looking forward to little things that pop up. Um, but yeah, this is the parents' question, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but now they like, yeah. I mean, with the support of friends, like they saw like, okay, there is a little bit of monetary value coming from this. I mean, their Asian parents, they ask about that a lot,
Hmm.
and like their support came out, and I was appreciative of it. And I showed them like, oh wow, your friends are nice. And like I was still working at the time. This is just a hobby. I'm not looking to do this full time, right? And they see that and they understand where my thoughts and my goals are for Twitch and like how much effort I'm putting into it. And yeah, they're completely like 100% supportive. They know what it is. They don't really come in because they don't understand
Hmm.
it that much, but they're chilling, and I'm glad I at least have their support. So yeah.
To you, what are the pros and cons of streaming on Twitch?
Oh, the cons would be trolls. There's a lot of trolls, but also the trolls can be pros as long as you know how to confront them and how you can like use their actions and words against themselves and use it to your advantage.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I think a bigger thing would be a con would be numbers. Twitch
Hmm.
shows you a lot of numbers, and that can kind of kill your psyche, especially if you're looking to grow and you're really focused on growing. It kind of demoralizes you if like your growth isn't where you want it to be.
Yeah.
Um, Another con would be yourself. Like the thing is, all the cons from Twitch derive from oneself, because there's so many streamers out there, and the fact that it's so easy for you to compare yourself to someone else and be jealous of their success is really high compared to IRL, because you don't see other people's success as often because it's not broadcasted to the world, right? But also that's a pro, because of the fact that all your friends' success is broadcasted out there. You can hype your friends up, be like, yo, let's go, you're hitting your milestone. Oh shit, you're hitting your milestone, right? You're
Oh,
doing all this, you're achieving so many great things, and I'm proud of you, right? Another pro is just one thing that I'm always talking about is um finding your happiness, right? Just knowing that it actually truly makes you happy, like just streaming, being talking to people, and
hmm.
being content with that. Another pro is making friends, making a community, having people to go to at the end of the day. Like, I get excited to go into my own server and going like, hey, yo, what's up, guys? What are you doing? Minecraft? Sick. I'm just gonna chill and listen to lo-fi. Cool. And I love that too about my community. Just like, or one night I was like, yo, I'm down, guys. Want to keep me company while I do stuff? And then people came in, and that was super wholesome, and it made my night. Just like people are there to support you, and you have friends. You have friends to watch anime with. You have friends to do dumb stuff with. Go on Minecraft, troll in unrateds. I don't know, right? But another pro, in my opinion, would be, and this goes more into like self growth, but getting yourself out of your comfort zone. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Because again, not knowing where you are and how you can achieve whatever you want to do, getting out of your comfort zone can help you push yourself to greater heights, right?
Mhm.
So yeah.
Pros and cons. Okay. So talking about the trolls and hate, which are the cons. Do you have any like specific stories of trolls you've encountered and how you handled
Oh,
situations, whether if it's you streaming or you being a mod?
um, I'll be honest with you. A lot of the times I'm modding in other channels. th- No offense to them, but they weren't the best suited, like mentally speaking, to deal with them. So like understanding like from there, it's just like kind of sucks. And I'm glad that I was there to just like be able to ban them and delete messages before it's seen.
Hmm.
Right. Real quick for the streamers out there, if you want um that you can add a chat delay for like a couple seconds so that mods can see messages before it's showed up on screen, so it can get deleted ASAP before it's broadcasted. But when I was streaming, it was really early on. I was doing a music stream, and I was really nervous because I wasn't the best at singing, or I don't think I am. Anyways, I'm not the best at music, but I do it for myself and it makes me happy, so I do it anyways. And these group of guys they went into my Discord. They hopped into VC because I didn't have it privated. I didn't have it like secured, and they were trolling. They were like, "Oh, you're terrible at singing. You're not good at this." And they were in chat. They're like, "You're terrible. Whatever, whatever. Sing this. Do this." And then I was like, from the first message of them going, "Oh, you suck." I'm like, "Okay, thanks. At least I know I can do better. I can improve. I can. Like, I'm just doing this for fun, anyways. Right? If you don't want to stay, you know. I mean, and at the end of it, they're like, "Wait, that was actually a pretty good answer. I don't know what to say to that." And then they ended up following, and then they used a couple prime subs. This one dude gave me $2. I'm like, "Hey, sick, cool, thanks." Like, do Riptide. I'm like, "Okay, sure, I'll do Riptide." I'm not good at it, but I'll do it. And they're like, "Yo, this is fire. Let's go catch ups in chat." And yeah, I actually I visit this one guy's stream still whenever he streams. It's not as often, but we're kind of homies now. He still DMs me about like help on how to do stuff with his stream or his PC. I'm like, cool. And that's how I dealt with mine. So yeah.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts about guys versus girls on Twitch, like when it comes to streaming?
Well, there is a massive like saying that it's easier for girls to get views slash followers and it's harder for guys. I can see it. I'm not gonna say it's completely true, but I've seen it happen, right? Like from what I see, anyways, there's a one word that kind of explains everything, and it's retention. I feel like depending on the content, it's hard for girls to retain a lot of their viewership, but their growth is like insane. I feel like for guys, it's a little easier for them to retain their viewers, but their growth is on a you know shallow slope, right? That's what I've seen, anyways. But I've also seen guys just grow really fast and still retain viewership. I've seen girls do the same. I've seen both sides. It really depends on who you are. Um, do what makes you happy, honestly. Like, if you don't like what you're doing, if you feel like you're entertaining the wrong audience, then switch up your stream. That's what I think. But honestly, the girls versus guys thing, like, yeah, like guys grow equally as fast as girls. It's just you're looking at the wrong guys, in my opinion. Some girls grow slower than guys, right? You might not see it, but you could also be looking in the wrong direction. So it goes both ways. It depends on the content and how well you are entertaining your audience. So yeah.
Okay. That being said, what advice would you give to people who are just trying to get started with streaming or are just trying to grow on Twitch?
Getting started with streaming is number one, get a good mic. That's what I learned. You don't even need a good camera. You don't even need a webcam. I mean, there's a lot of VTubers that are finding success on Twitch. I mean, there's a couple of streamers who don't show cam, but they're doing really well because of TikTok. If you're looking to start off, I honestly think just get a mic and press start streaming. Um, just hop into it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Let's be real. Like, no one shows up. Okay, then you know there's something you can change, right? Like everything good, everything bad. This is basically a lesson for you to understand your own audience and how you are as a streamer. So unless you click start streaming now, you're not gonna know where you can improve on. And same thing with growing. Um, click start and figure out and understand like you know, what you like doing. Because there's so many different categories on Twitch. There's a streaming category that's popular for some reason. Like there's so many different audiences out there, and a lot of them you can cater to a lot of them, right? Variety streamers do really well because they can cater to a lot of people. If you lose energy because there's too many things going on, stick to doing one thing that you're really proud of. There's a lot of art streamers, there's a lot of Osu streamers, Pokemon streamers. Like find out what makes you happy, and your audience will come. For growing, is specifically make sure you're using social media, especially TikTok at the moment. Despite the fact that it's kind of cringe sometimes, it's a really easy way for you to grow. Make sure you're showcasing your Twitch link and you're telling people that you are a streamer. Otherwise, they think you're just a random gamer that's like posting. And don't be afraid to network. It's the biggest thing. In a sense, like businesses, like what I said earlier, you need a network to succeed. Twitch in itself, you are your own business, you are your own company, you are marketing yourself. So being able to expand your friends list, right, the people that you talk to, your DMs, etc., that's a way for you to grow. And in a sense, that's more support on your side, not just like in terms of numbers, but also emotionally. Yes.
All right. Thank you for the advice. So, in your opinion, there's a lot of known big streamers, right? Pokimane, Ninja. There's a lot of small streamers. What would you consider as like a mid tier?
If we're looking at mid tier from Poki, XQC, like the high, if they were considering them high and low being like single digit streamers, like in terms of viewership, a mid tier you're looking at like low partnered, like just partnered streamers would be a mid tier or even close to it. Like in my opinion, that's a mid tier. Um, if you're looking at it in terms of like quantity, in terms of each range or in like in each category, a mid tier would be like teens to 40 in terms of viewership. That would be mid tier, right? Again, we're looking at strictly on numbers, but in my opinion, that's what mid tier is.
Yeah.
Right. If you're looking at the success, then it would be low partnered. And yeah, that's my definition of like a mid tier, depending on how you look at it. So yeah.
Okay. Coming down to the last question in regards to Twitch. So, I usually ask everyone this. I don't know if you know where this is going.
I think I know where this is going.
Okay. So, how does it feel to be famous?
What the? Oh, wait, this was a different question I was thinking.
Oh.
I thought it was a different question. What the heck? I don't think I'm famous. No. And I don't think I'm famous. How does it feel to know a lot of people and be acquainted with so many amazing people? It feels amazing, right? To be famous, that's a different word that I don't want to talk about. But just strictly knowing and being and befriending so many people, it feels so nice. Just because you have so many people to talk to, different things you can talk about. If your one group is more interested in one topic, then you can talk about that topic to them. But it's there's like smiles all around. It feels nice. You can see Wilson smile every day. I love it. Like, look at that smile. But yeah, Twitch is all about community and family, in my opinion. And if you're not stemming happiness from it, then yeah, that's my biggest thing.
So, what was the question you thought I was gonna ask you?
Oh, I thought you were gonna start listing people and be like, "Oh, what are your thoughts on?"
Oh, that was gonna be later. Okay. So, anyways, moving on to Valorant topics briefly. Favorite agent and worst agent, in your opinion?
Like worst agent to me or worst agent in the game?
Let's do both. Both ways for favorites and
worst.
Worst.
Okay. My favorites at the moment. probably gonna be like Sova or Jet. I don't play Sova personally, but like his kit is so good, like for information and just like understanding where people are. Like it's a lot more. He's kind of like a Sky, but more accurate because you can actually see where people are, right? And how long range his information gathering is. Jet because she's viable on every map. Dude, you can't ever go wrong with Jet. Even with the current meta, it being like what Chamber as a pseudo duelist, double initiator, another sentinel, and a smoke. Like Jet's still viable in any comp, right? And then yeah, best agent in what the best agent I think in the game period would probably still be Jet, just because of her versatility, especially because she's still one of the better agents on the op. That besides Chamber because he has a TP and he has the op built into his kit, but her dash just makes her be like she can peek so many aggressive angles and both on offense and defense, and she can get away safely, saying that you're able to time that dash correctly.
Yeah.
And yeah, worst agent to me, I hate Breach, dude. Breaches are so annoying. So get him out. I like seeing, dude. I already wear glasses. I don't want to ruin my eyesight anymore. And especially on Fracture, you're just like, holding the sight and so, you just hear it all coming. No. Worst agent in the game. That yeah, Breach is worst agent to me, even though I still play him sometimes. But worst agent in the game at the moment, I would say Phoenix. I know a lot of pros have been saying this too, and I've sided with them heavily. But his kit's very lackluster. I'm pretty sure he needs a rework pretty soon. He's it's a very close, like very close quarters type of duelist. Like he can clear like closer angles pretty well, but if you're looking at like longer angles, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that if you're looking at it, like let's see, like take any map, there's always some sort of like long, right? Like A long, B long, whatever. Especially Haven, there's two types of longs. If you're trying to push one site with a Phoenix, it's gonna be hard, especially if there's someone watching that, or there's like two people watching that angle. Like okay, let's say a Haven, like sure you can go into sewers, but you have to clear long first. You can get someone else to flash that or smoke it out, but it's a little difficult. Once he's on site, or like once he's closer to site, sure he does better, but the flashes don't do too much in my opinion. The wall is just like it's like a worse neon wall that you can curve. His molly doesn't do damage fast enough in my opinion. Sure you can clear at an angle, but saying someone's on full health, I don't think that's a kill necessarily. Like they can still hold that angle. Like versus a Viper who can get vulnerable onto an enemy, like you can kill them with a classic at that point, even with full shields, right? And the alt depends. The higher you go up, it's harder to play. Like you'll still get one tapped in your alt that just loses your shield. What kind of information you get? Oh, they one tap me in heaven. Yeah, that's what I think.
Gotcha. Favorite gun to use and worst gun?
Okay, is this in the game or in personal opinion? Or are we doing both again?
Yeah. Do both.
Again?
Do both.
Okay. Best gun for me would be Operator. It's clean. It's my favorite. It can be hard depending, especially if you miss your first shot. Like you leave yourself so vulnerable, but it's just so clean when you get that one. Yum. Best gun in general, in the game as a whole. I think it's come back to the classic, because they buff the right click again, like it's a really small buff, but I remember the spread used to be worse before and it got better.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that you can still two tap someone in the head and get a kill is pretty insane, right? Considering that you're like crispy enough with your shots, full shields, two tap to the head, you're good. And it's versatile with the left and right click. Like you can say Vandal, sure you can say Phantom too, but Like you always end up using your classic when you run out of ammo, and a lot of times like the classic comes in clutch, right? Worst gun in the game, in my opinion. I'm sorry, Hi. You'd probably be the stinger. The spray is too inconsistent, as even for close quarters. The right click, I mean the ADS triple headshot, sure it could work, but it's iffy at times. Um, Especially because like it's only 1600 for a Spectre, and the running gun is fire, right? Right, Wilson?
Yep.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Um, Stinger used to be really good, but at
Oh
least
hell
at the
yeah.
moment it's come down by quite a bit. Worst gun in the game that I, not in my opinion. Uh, I don't remember. It'd probably be the Bucky. The Bucky has lost its use. Even like during save rounds, people would prefer a shorty over a Bucky. Ever since the right click nerf, it's been kind of tough. Um, and if you're trying to left click, you can still right click. You can still use a judge, and it's only 1600 too, and that's also pretty good save round gun. So, yeah.
Alrighty, how about favorite skin set?
Oof, skin sets. Wait, what's the one right now? Gaia's Revenge or
Gaia
Gaia's
something?
Vengeance?
I forgot.
I forgot. I'm not gonna say it's my favorite. I just want to say the default one looks sick because it reminds you of Canada, red and white. Oh, Canada, let's go, Canada tree. Something about Gaia. My favorites. Okay, the one I hate the most, or I very much dislike, would probably be Def's, the underwater one. No, that's a no go for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I only asked for favorite, but okay.
No, you asked for a favorite. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
favorite. It would either be Prime
Mhm.
or hey, I forgot the name of it. Sovereign. Sovereign Collection is pretty fire. I I'm saying that because I like clean and simple.
Mhm.
So that's that for me.
And now rank your maps from favorite to least.
Rank my maps from favorite. I love Fracture. Fracture number one. I actually really like Fracture. As long as you can communicate with your team, saying like where you want people to go, then it works. Like some people don't know this, but you don't have to 3-mana sight. Like you can 2-mana sight and have a smoke in the middle, and then whichever side's being pushed, then your smoke doesn't have to rotate all the way from the other side. They can just sit CT,
Mhm.
and that's hella good. But Fracture number one. Two, I would say I forgot the maps. I would say two would be Ascent. I like Ascent. It's annoying to play on, but it's a clean map, and how to play Ascent's pretty easy as long as you know how to play Ascent. Third would probably be. I would have said Icebox, but since it got reworked, hitting B is so hard, so I prefer Bind. Bind's a clean map. It's not bad. Fifth would probably be Icebox then. Or no, that's fourth, right? Fourth is
Fourth.
Icebox.
Yeah.
Fourth. Then fifth would be actually no. We'll go so it'll be Fracture, Ascent, Breeze, and then Bind, Split, and Haven. There you go.
Wait, where does Icebox go?
Oh, Icebox. So Fracture, Breeze, Ascent,
Uh-huh.
Icebox, Split,
Okay.
Haven. Yeah.
Middle. And then you forgot bind, but yeah. It's like
But I say
before
bind.
before
Did I
split.
not say bind?
No, you said it earlier.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I get it. Alright. So those are the maps. Now, at this point, we have come down to the last few questions. So if anyone in chat has like a question you really want to ask Fred, just tag me in it, okay? Tag me and then ask your question. So let me start us off with, what's your biggest pet peeve?
I actually had an answer to this question earlier in the week and I forgot.
Oh.
Pet peeve.
Yeah.
Um Hiding little things, I guess, maybe. Like really insignificant things, like not being truthful about really small things. Like, I mean, me as a person, I'm not one to judge. Like, I'll poke fun of it, like I said earlier, but
Mhm.
like, what am I gonna do with it? So, tease you about it. You can tell me not to tease you, and I won't tease you. I'm pretty understanding. So, I guess that would be it. I'm not sure.
How about greatest fear?
Being alone.
Okay. Being alone. All right. Favorite food?
Oh wait. Let me change. Fear.
Okay.
Instead of being alone, it's feeling alone.
Ah.
Yeah, that would be it.
Mhm.
And what was the third one? Sorry.
Favorite food?
Favorite food. Lebanese. Lebanese
Mhm.
food. Lamb, especially. Yes.
Uh,
Or eggs. I love eggs. I can eat
eggs.
eggs any single time of the day, dude. Ooh, how versatile eggs can be. Yum. Okay, go.
Favorite quote or quote that you live by?
Hope for the best, expect the worst.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Who do you look up to?
Everyone that's taller than me. No.
Yeah.
um, like one specific person is hard because I look up to different people for different things.
Mm-hmm.
Literal. um, in what context? Like, are we looking at life in general?
Yeah, just in life, I guess, or
Just
any
in
context that
life.
you want to bring up.
Um. This is hard. This is a hard question for me.
It's okay if you don't have one, like at the moment.
Yeah. At the moment, I don't. If I remember one, then I'll bring it up. But
Okay, greatest accomplishment and failure or regret.
my biggest regret would be not trying as hard in high school.
Okay.
That would be the biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest accomplishment would be biggest accomplishment. Do I have any accomplishments? No, I have a couple. The biggest one, like, I don't take too much pride in my accomplishments just because like it's it sets us up for later something greater. But at least I guess at the moment, for how long I've been on this earth, um, my biggest accomplishment would be being there for the ones who needed it the most. Like if we're looking at it in like a dark setting, like me being able to help someone out of that mindset, like more than a couple times, that would be my greatest accomplishment.
Like, yeah, okay. All right, and now, so first impression and thoughts of Hein.
Of Hein, damn, your voice deep, bro. First thoughts and what?
Like first
And
impression and then current thoughts.
oh, first impression, damn, your voice deep though. And current thoughts would be, yo, this man wholesome AF. He's sus AF too though, but he Hein is someone that, at least for me, like he has my back, and I really appreciate that. Regardless whatever the topic is, like he's always down to call. He's always down to just hang out. He's always down to just be. He's just happy to be there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm happy, and I'm really appreciative of him that he's happy to be there with me and just hang out with me. Right? He's one of the few that likes to hang out, like, and appreciates my company, and I love him for that. And he's a very supportive friend when it comes to just being able to listen, right? Like
Yeah.
I know sometimes I go to him for whatever things, and sometimes he doesn't even know what to say, but just his company, it means a lot. So I appreciate you, Hein, for that.
So when you mentioned your first impression of him having a deep voice, do you recall how you actually met him and started talking to him?
Oh, I met him through Annie's stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I came in, I was like playing with people, and like, holy, this voice so low, dude. This voice so low.
Gotcha.
Corpse, hello. And then I remember him saying, was it Heroes Are Ruining My Life? I'm like, yo, this is Corpse. No way, this isn't Corpse. Oh, it's not Corpse. Okay, never mind. Walmart Corpse.
All right. Same question for Annie.
Um, First impression. Okay, are we bringing it back to when we first met or when we re-met on Twitch?
Ooh, you could do both.
You do both.
Yeah.
Um, First, I can't remember my thoughts of her back then,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll bring up my first impression of Annie when I first met her, like how many years ago? I was like, oh shit, she's cute though. Oh wait, yo, she cracked the ulti though. And then every single time I like visited her practice, because I was there with a friend, yo Annie, you're cracked. Damn, shit, you're good. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was my first impression of Annie back then. And then when we re-met here on Twitch, um, I mean she rated me in like May of 21, and I never went to a stream till like August.
Mm-hmm.
She followed in like May. I never went back. But first impression was she seemed really sweet. She seemed like a really inviting person, and it, she seemed like a very inclusive streamer, and she's funny, yeah, and she's like wholesome in a sense, and but she knew how to be sus at like good times so that it's content and it's not just like blatantly saying whatever, right?
Yeah.
um and my thoughts of her now is she is a very consistent person in my life at the moment. She's one of the few people that actually talk to me every day, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what I love about her. I know I've said this on her stream, but once you're her friend, she like you're her friend, and she doesn't try to like abandon you or anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's someone who deeply cares about people who are close to her. Annie is annoying at times sometimes, dude. Sorry, Annie, if you're gonna listen to this again, dude. I'm not gonna lie, your late replies, oh my god, dude. But that being said, like I know she's busy. She has a lot on her plate, so she does what she needs to do. Um, but she's overall like an amazing person to be like around. Always positive vibes. Um, and yeah, she's cool. She aight.
All right, down to my last three. So what was your first impression of me?
Oh, he's so wholesome. He's so cute. He's like he's like a baby, but he's not. We must protect. And then my
Right.
thoughts of you now would be, oh damn, you Wilson really is. Whether or not you agree to it or not, but you are definitely one of the beacons for Twitch in terms of like striving for positivity and just making sure that everyone is included.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you bring communities together very well, bring people together very well, and you just have people supporting each other immensely, and then help helping other people create new relationships. So
Mm.
thank you, Wilson, for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. As of now, who are the top 5 streamers that you find yourself watching nowadays?
Annie, because I'm her mod. I'm there always. Um, Two would be you. I'm always lurking in your streams, my dude.
Thank you. Thank you.
I got you. 3 would be my best friend, Chani. She's not higher because she doesn't stream as often,
Mm-hmm.
but whenever she streams, her stream's always on. And like even right here, like this is a photo of us, both Chani
Oh.
and I, when we met up in New York. Let's see if it'll focus.
Ah.
Yeah, bestie.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, she's third because she doesn't stream as often, but
Yeah.
we always keep in contact. We catch each other up and everything. Fourth would be Alicia, my little sister. I love you lots forever. I will beat up every single fuckboy that tries to get with you. Big bro to the rescue. And then fifth would be um Moonfishy. Moonfishy or Trent, the groovy llama. Again, Mish has been there since the beginning. And Trent's just he's just a vibe. Loves I love being in his streams.
Nice. All right. And lastly, using your connections, who would you like to see as a guest on this podcast in the future and why?
Using my connections.
Yeah, so doesn't mean I have to know them.
I want Mish on here. Moonfishy. I want Mishy on here. Yeah, either Mishy or Nancy. Definitely. Yeah. Mishy, no, Mishy for sure. Dude, I need Mishy in here, dude. Mishy, where you? Oh no, she's streaming. Never mind. She was streaming. Yeah.
All right. Just because like you want to get to know her more or see like her thoughts?
No, I want everyone to know of her. I want
Ah,
everyone to know Mishy.
okay.
I know a lot about Mishy. She knows a lot about me, but I want her to be exposed more to the world of Twitch. She's
Gotcha.
very comfy with where they are right now, or where she is right now. But considering that she's amazing at networking. Like, yeah, this is a great chance for her to just showcase who she is as a person.
Mm. All right. Well, that was all the questions that I have. What are your plans right after this?
Val? I think we're playing Val later. That's what I know.
All right, for sure, for sure. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna end this for the YouTube segment, and then after that, I'll just let you go, and then we'll just talk off Discord or so.
Cool. This is where chat asks me, right?
Yeah. Chat. If you guys still have questions, you should feel free to ask. If anyone has any last minute questions, why is Fred so cute?
Ask my mom. She's adorable. I'm not that cute, but thanks.
So some Valorant after this.
Probably, yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
amazing singing. Let's go. During the talent show. That was crazy.
Dude, that was last minute, dude. I was actually stressing. I don't know if you could hear it, but my voice was like shaking.
Oh, really?
I was shaking. Like when I was standing up here, I'm like, dude, I was shivers, dude. Yeah, and I feel like I could have done better. I'll be honest with you. I know I could have done better. And one reason why is because I was nervous.
Yeah.
My voice receded back into my throat a little bit, or like a lot
Oh,
bit.
okay.
Like I couldn't have my voice resonate from my mouth; it resonated from my throat. So to me, it felt like I was choking my own voice, or like it was being strained in a sense. So yeah.
Did not expect that, but it was so good. And it's on
Thank
YouTube
you.
now.
Oh, no.
Exclamation talent show. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Dude, even Annie's was last minute. I don't know if she told you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did it. We're just hanging out here in my room and like, oh, we should let's try this. Okay, and then we did it. Like, okay, we'll just do this. You seem more comfortable. Okay, sure. But she just didn't get close enough to the mic, so she was a little softer. But it's okay.
Even the duet too, right?
Oh, duet was fine though.
Oh,
'Cause
like you guys chose that?
because I moved it to her mouth.
Oh, I meant the song
So-
choice. The song choice.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
song choice was everything was last
Yeah.
minute. But we were actually supposed to do a whole new world, but
Mm-hmm.
the harmonization part was kind of iffy on her part. And
Yeah.
we decided just not to do harmonization.
Gotcha.
Even if we switched the vocals, like I
Mhm.
take the girl part and she take the guy part, it was still a little messy, especially because there's so many overlapping parts. It
Yeah.
got confusing. So a whole new. I mean, I see the light. It's a little bit more simple. It's
Mhm.
still wholesome and cute. So yeah.
Angel, only child too. So you feel it.
You feel it? I feel you. I feel you. We all have our struggles, but it's okay. It's all okay. Well, thanks for joining the Discord.
Hey. All right. Well, I'll close this off and then I'll let you go. And I'm gonna eat a little bit before I decide what to do next.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Hopefully I gave solid answers.
Oh heck yeah, heck yeah.
Pogs.
All right, guys. Basically clocking out at over 3 hours. Let's go of hearing Fred's life experiences. This has been the Chang Gang Podcast, episode 62. Thank you so much for being here, Fred. Any last words for everyone watching, whether it's here live or on YouTube?
Make sure you follow and support Wilson Chang. Amazing friend, amazing homie, beacon of light for us. No, but seriously, make sure you follow and support him. We all love him to bits, and honestly, a lot of us would have not made the connection we've made without him. So, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot. All right, guys. Make sure to check out Fred's Twitch channel. You could use !guest, which leads you to a direct link. And there's our Instagram handles on the bottom right if you want to drop some follows, show some love. This video will be out on YouTube within the next few days. This is actually going to be the last episode for quite some time. So if you guys are tuning in now, thank you. It really means a lot. But aside from that, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I welcome you all to the Chang Gang with open arms. See you next time. Stay positive, guys. Peace.